It's always good to go super duper live. And welcome everybody to clearproptv.org.net. That's something. It's always good to go. It sounds like we are live. We are live? Oh my goodness. We are live. I am trying to go to the chat so I can see the chat. But I don't see the chat. I tried to do the phone thing, but I don't think it's gonna.
I got it, and I was first. Woo woo!
All right. So who can watch the chat? Oh, Don is sideways. Welcome,
Am I
Don.
sideways?
You are sideways.
Like this?
Turn it up.
All right.
You're sideways, but I don't know if I need to be this way or that way.
There we go. No, go. Turn sideways one more time, Don.
This way?
There you go. Perfect.
Oh, finally, it wouldn't go sideways. You were sideways.
All right. That is awesome.
Sorry, my thumb.
Don't change it at all. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sean Symons, PPG Grandpa, and you're listening to... Oh, come on. Everybody knows what this is.
You're the announcer.
PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast. Woo! In the house.
What?
Today we have an awesome topic. It's obsessed spouses with paramotors. But first of all, let's welcome our panel. Linda Anderson, welcome. We have Bale Waller in the house. Woot, woot. We have JP Tulo down there. What's up?
Oh,
never dressed a skinny chef, Shane.
Hello.
And Tommy Mosley. What's up? Now, for everyone wants to know about this obsessed spouse. His name is Shane Bitner. Woo, woo, woo. What's up, Shane? What's up? Right there there he is. And then way down below, over there, you'll see his wife, Dawn Bitner. Welcome to the show, everyone. This is going to be really awesome. I'm really glad that you guys made it here, and welcome everyone. Welcome to the chat. If you're here, say something in the chat wherever the chat is, and let us know that you are here. Today's topic: obsessed spouse with paramotor. Is that even possible? Does anybody get into this sport and not obsess over it? Of course we do, which is awesome. That's why we're all here. That's why we wear the t-shirts that say, warning, may talk about paramotors. And we have Dawn that has told me, this guy Shane over here, this guy Shane right here, all he does is, Shane, there's paramotors, there's noise about paramotors and reading books about paramotors. Is this true, Shane? Welcome to the show.
This is very true. Definitely addicted to paramotor.
Oh, wow, I can see his face. Whoa. I just saw my husband's face. I'm kidding.
I get. Oh yeah, because he's always right here in front of.
Yeah,
we
that was
understand.
funnier than what it was.
No, it was hilarious. It was beautiful. It was brilliant, darling, marvelous. So welcome to the show, everyone. Appreciate that you're here. Now, real quick, since we do have Dawn here, tell us a little bit about this obsessed maniac that you call a spouse. What does he do? That's
paramotoring, aka boyfriend. I mean boyfriend. Sorry, I don't have one. Girlfriend. That's what I meant to say on the last show. Like when you kept asking me, it's like, oh, you know what? That's totally a side chick. No joke. But that's okay because he has always wanted to be up in the air and he's been obsessed with it. And I'll be honest, when he was talking about planes and all of that, it's like you have the hangar, then you'll have insurance, and then all the hours you got to, and then he saw a paramotor, and then it's like this world ceased to exist. He wants to learn any and all things he can about it because it's his passion. So it's awesome.
At least he didn't have time for a side chick.
For real, but I'm calling her she. Totally a she.
So
He
the,
gets
the,
way
the
more
she,
attention than I do, but that's okay.
so the she that you're talking about is his paramotor paraphernalia.
Wing. It's just the wing. It's not. He's not even in the air yet. Are you kidding? It's the wing so far.
So just in case you didn't catch what she said, we already did a podcast, and the podcast was about
whoops.
the. I know you blew it out there.
I know I
now
blew it.
So now
It's okay.
everyone's
It's
gonna
happening
know.
right now anyway. So no going back.
So after this podcast is going to premiere at 10 o'clock tonight. The podcast that Dawn, I, and Linda did was all about the obsessiveness of Shane behind the scenes.
Who,
And
me?
how about that? That. So it's going to be, it's a pre-recorded podcast. It's already uploaded and will go live premiering at 10 o'clock tonight. So if you guys are interested, stay on this channel and check it out.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I locked the door. I know I locked the door. You can't even get in here.
Somebody's in trouble. So apparently, Shane, you've been tagged as a very obsessed person that does this paramotor stuff, and you just started. Matter of fact, you haven't even done but what, 4 days of kiting. So tell us a little bit about your history, how long you've been thinking about this, and when did you get started, and how do you feel about kiting so far?
Okay, so let's see. This started when I was a kid. I actually got to ride in a crop duster. It's just a plane that flies over fields and sprays chemical on plants. And ever since then, I've been totally addicted to wanting to get in the air. So my wife was saying, I told her that I was really wanting to get my private pilot license. And then I started looking at the expensives, and it's really expensive. So she just kind of said, we can do it if you really want to. And somehow by magic, the paramotors said this way. And I seen my first paramotor video. And since then, it has been nonstop, every day, 24/7. If I'm not watching paramotoring, then I'm kiting my wing, or it's paramotoring. I mean, that's all it is.
Shane,
I think I need
what video
some
was it?
jewelry or something, really.
What video was it that caught your attention?
Well, honestly, I've seen so many now, but I want to say, I think that it was.
Don't even say it. He's got the shirt on.
All right.
Wait, we got to see the shirt.
All right, I'll admit it. It was some Tucker guy,
Risky biscuit.
Damn you,
Yeah.
Tucker!
Hey,
Tucker
And
got
then
me.
it went to
I got you back.
everyone else.
I got you backed up.
There you go. There you go. And then after Tucker, I've probably watched 120 videos of Tucker. And then I was like, well, I've probably watched all the videos. And then all of a sudden, everybody else started popping up. I seen PPG Grandpa and Anthony and Mark and Kylo. And I was like, oh, wow.
Bell
here we go.
and a
And
whole
then
bunch.
I was like, I need to learn this stuff. So I watched an aviator ground handling video. And then the video was really informative. And then I got into Sky School, and they taught me a lot. I would recommend to anybody, if you want to start learning a little bit about it, then go watch some of Sky School's YouTube videos. They're exactly what a newbie should be looking for.
Yeah, this is the newbie's dream, though, having contact with everyone like you guys. I mean, that's the truth in it. He's been like, girl, he's going to kill me. But being able to contact you guys and have someone that's like in the air and y'all, when I see him in the air, I'm probably gonna bawl. It's gonna happen. But then I'm probably gonna cry because I'm never gonna see him anymore. But yeah, the truth of it is contact with you guys is what's really even pushed him even further. I think I deserve a ring or something. I'm pretty sure because he's married to paramotoring now. So no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He's totally not that. Well, maybe a little bit. But anyway.
It's not that
You'll
bad.
But
find
the
him
thing
in the-
about
you're-
it is, like, he would never do this stuff. He would never get online and talk in front of people. Like, it's really helped him. So that's good.
You're gonna find him out in the garage caressing the prop one night and get real jealous.
Oh.
He's gonna be putting his
about
hands on the
that.
bolts and just touch them
Oh,
like, yeah,
no.
baby, it's okay.
I think he checks on the wings a lot too. That's in the garage. So yeah,
You know,
probably.
you gotta make sure they're healthy and
See?
just
See? You don't even make my
stand there.
sweet tea anymore. Anyway,
Oh my God.
women get ready. Women
Have
get
you-
ready. That's
Have
all I
you
gotta say.
named your wing yet? Have you named your motor? Do you have a motor yet?
I can't say that out loud. My wife's on here now.
It better have my name in it at least.
Nice.
Oh, that's funny. I love my
So
mom.
as a very newbie, and you are really getting into this, you've been looking around for a wing. You've been looking around for a motor, and so what have you been looking around for? I hear that you have possibly Mark Honeycutt has actually contacted you, and you got some other big names that are contacting you about motors. Tell us about that.
Well,
Yeah, let me listen.
I actually joined a Facebook group. It was Paramotor Things for Sale. They've got a lot of just a lot of equipment on there that's pretty fairly priced. So I posted a sale ad looking for a new beginning setup, and well, nobody really said anything at first, and then all of a sudden it was like I got spammed by 20 or 30 people, and I started going through, and some of the people that got a hold of me, they didn't really want to sell anything. They were just, I guess, trying to be a part of the group. And, you know, I met some really interesting people. I've talked to some really interesting people. And
Tell
Mark
us about
Honeycutt got a hold of you about the paramotor, honey. Get
Yeah,
to the
tell-
point.
Yeah, tell us
okay,
about-
yeah,
tell us
Mark
about
Honeycutt
Sorry, you just gotta steer it.
actually,
He's nervous. I'm on here now.
Mark got a hold of me and he said, "Hey man, I've got this paramotor I'm wanting to sell, and I think it would fit you pretty good." So we've been chit chatting back and forth, and you know, it's Mark Honeycutt, so I'm all like this again, you know.
Oh, at least he's admitting it.
And
Awesome. That's awesome.
I mean, I really don't know. It's really
Probably gonna go get it soon. That's what he. Yeah, probably. It's a Blackhawk. What? That's all I got. Blackhawk something. But we got to talk to Mr. Britton first.
well, that's one of the ones I was looking at.
Oh, see, his girlfriend. I don't get to know about. So
All right.
I like her on the podcast. This is awesome.
So
Girlfriend, I love
I
it.
know.
I don't get to know
One way
about
to look at
her. He's even talking a little bit slower and probably watching his words. That's fine. I got the bank account and the debit card. So
and she's drinking from a mason jar, so everybody's
it's my
done.
sweet tea now.
I noticed that. Sweet tea, right?
Mostly
yeah.
tea. I like
Gotta
that.
have my sweet tea. He's not been making it either. He used to make it for me every day.
Uh-oh.
He's busy watching videos.
I know. Well, as long as he stays in the air and doesn't get hurt, it'll be totally worth it. So he's
He'll
got to
be
get
fine.
information. I mean, I joke around
So-
about it, but the truth in it is I don't want anything to happen to him, and knowledge is power. So
Well,
It's
Shane,
funny.
let me ask you real quick. What videos do you have? Do you have all that stuff in front of you right now with all the videos? And
I do.
can you show us what you got?
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So I'll start with airspace log, which I've not had the time to watch any of these yet, but I've got airspace law here. Then I've got how to clean your wing. And then I've got advanced landing. Then I've got in-flight precision. Advanced launching. Advanced ground handling.
Man, this guy isn't joking, is he?
No, he's not done yet. He's not even close.
What
That's just the
the-
stuff on the table.
Risk and reward.
I own
with
none
William
of this.
Shatner. William Shatner is Risk and Reward. That's a good one. I watched that one.
PPG Bible.
Paramotor Bible, I recognize that one.
Jeff going.
And I've got probably 1,000 videos saved on YouTube.
Wow.
I've
Now
got
this-
He's ready. He's ready.
Go ahead, JB.
Well,
I've got folders on my computer of well, basically cloud porn, like different types of clouds, cumulonimbus, cumulus.
A lot of
Cirrus.
research. A lot of research too.
Oh yeah, you'll have your
Now-
syllabus and USPPA stuff.
Now,
Man, that's
it-
awesome. It looks like you're going about it the right way, though. That's awesome. Do your homework.
Definitely.
Now,
But you
if
don't
guys-
own a wing at all yet. I heard you've been kiting a few times, but you don't own a wing yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
But you do have a wing that your instructor has let you use. What is that?
It's an ozone groundhog. It's a 14 meter. It's got A's, B's, C's, and brakes. It's a really, really nice fighting wing. It's really easy. If you got 6-mile-per-hour winds, it's super easy to get up in the air, and it's not too big or it's going to drag you around. And
It's more than a kiting wing. You could fly a groundhog. Like,
yeah.
you
Well,
really
no,
could,
we
but
have
someone
He
could.
can't. He can't.
no, we have an agreement.
Yeah, what's
He's
the
got to be like ready. Like his instructor has to tell him, because I'm afraid of heights, and if something happens to him, I'll flip out. So don't tell him that. Please don't encourage him to get off the ground yet.
No, we're definitely not encouraging everybody.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
For all you that are listening to the podcast after the fact over at paratalk.org, what you did not see is Shane with how many CDs? He had CDs or DVDs that he held up in front of him, and that was all just the DVDs that he was holding up from. Not even including the PPG Bible that he had there, and a couple of other things. Wow.
couple of them.
Look at this, guys. So if you're listening to this, you need to come over to clearproptv.com and watch this. Unless you're in your car, then keep the audio on. All right. Let's see what we got going on here real quick. Because we're talking with Shane as a newbie. He has not flown yet. He is an obsessed spouse. And his wife is on here too, telling us how amazing he is at spending a bunch of money on paramotor stuff. That now that's not a bad thing, is it? Right? I mean, you're
No,
okay,
really.
right?
It's not. I support him. It's been a little bit annoying the last 2 days, just to be honest. So it's like,
Why
I'll
I'm
just
sick
be
of
honest,
constant.
last couple of days, he's finally got a day off, and anyway.
Oh, okay. So he's been off.
So, but no, I support him, and he knows that. He knows that I'm just having good fun. So
That's,
get to see his face, pick at him a little bit.
so since we have a very newbie, Linda, Brian, Shane, JP, Tommy, does anybody have a question for an absolute newbie that you might want to ask? Or Shane, do you have a question that you would like to ask the panel?
Let's see. So, what got everybody into wanting to get into the air?
For me, it was Tucker got flying to McDonald's.
That's the first one I saw.
That's the first one everybody sees.
Yeah.
For me, it was
Tommy?
go ahead. For me, it was the same thing you were doing. I was looking at buying a plane, and I was looking at annuals and storage fees, and I was like, I could buy a paramotor every single year for the same price. So I wanted a very slow Piper Cub, something I could, land on sandbars at the river. And, if you get the right paramotor wing and you're advanced enough to fly some of these faster wings, it's about the same speed as a Piper. So that was me. Same thing as you were doing. Love of flight. So glad I didn't buy a plane. So glad I didn't buy a plane. That's a lot of hassle.
Yeah.
Brian, Skinny Chef?
Well,
Go ahead, Skinny.
all right. So for me, I was sitting in the woods hunting. It was a nice quiet morning, nice brisk, cold. Well, I shouldn't say too cold. It's in Florida. And I was sitting in my tree stand, and all of a sudden a guy just flies over in a paramotor, and I was just like, oh, that's what I need to be doing. And well, I've been doing it since November. It did take me over 20 years to finally pull the trigger and do it all, thanks to my wife.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it took you 20 years. From the time you saw the paramotor in the tree stand to actually getting into it?
Yeah. My wife and I have a rule. We don't give each other birthday presents or anniversary gifts or Christmas presents. We spend all of our money on our kids. So I didn't have any extra money to buy paramotor gear or we had enough time, I guess, involved in our house that I could finance my. And here I am, happy as can be.
Well, good for you, brother. Sounds like you're a good parent for sure. But for me, it was, I guess, my dad's always been into aviation. We've got a grass runway in the front yard. So I've been flying for a long time, I guess, with him and a little bit by myself. But more or less, I saw a John Baptiste Chandelier video where he's a paraglider on YouTube. And I was like, he's flying such awesome places, beautiful places. I see him just like hovering over the beach, like stepping from fence post to fence post and doing crazy things. I was like, that's what I want to do. But I started looking into it, and I realized most places you're not going to be able to do that unless you got good weather, mountains, beaches, that kind of thing, where you got good laminar winds. So I decided I need a motor, and I live out of a camper. I travel the country, and I decided what better thing to do than to add a paramotor to my arsenal and fly. And I didn't want to die. I did a lot of YouTube videos and stuff like you're doing, not nearly as much as you, because all I have is the Paraglider's Bible, and that's after I signed up for training an aviator. But yeah, I think you're going about it the right way, man. It's going to be an awesome sport. You're going to love it.
And Linda is the mother of a paraglider and talk show host. So Linda, even though you don't fly, what do you think about Robert and his flying?
Oh,
How'd he start?
I love what he does. I do. He's been flying since like 2017, and he's always willing to learn new stuff. And what I find, there's so many awesome teachers out there to help you. So I look at it, don't ever think you don't need that help. Reach out there, ask people, talk to these guys that have been doing it for a while, just for safety and all that. And absolutely,
Can you give him a shout out real quick and his .com?
Yep, paraglidingtalk.com on Thursday night with your host, Robert Michaels.
Woohoo!
It's
Woot,
so
woot.
fun. That's it. I know. And I look forward. I love hanging out with them on Thursdays. It's so fun. Everybody. So, you guys are my family. You know that. I've grown so much just learning and listening to everything you guys are doing. It's so fun.
In the past couple of years, I've grown too. outward.
Round is a shape.
It is. I can still foot launch, so that's all that matters.
That is all that matters. Speaking about foot launch, Shane, do you want to just foot launch? Do you want to trike? You think about paragliding? What is your main goal?
So I've looked into free flying and I've looked into foot launch. And for me, I feel like I'm not going to want to take the time and wait around, para-waiting as it's called, for free flying. So I'm really thinking about foot launching. I think it's been my main pull. It's really fantastic how you can pretty much launch anywhere. I mean, as long as the conditions are right, you can anywhere. So
I hate to give you bad news, but you get the para weight with a motor as well at times.
But not as much.
He's been wearing this sandbag weighted vest thing.
Nice. How many pounds?
60.
I don't.
Nice.
Wow.
You're gonna be prepared. I prepared with a 40-pound backpack, doing short bursts running, because that's what you're gonna need to do. But 60 pounds, man. Run some 50-yard sprints with that weight on your back, man. You'll be good to go.
No, we go to town with it. He wears it when we got our kid's car. Like he wore it. He wears it all over. So I'm just picking. But yeah, see, good job,
it's a
babe.
good thing to
You're
do.
doing it right.
It's a good thing to do. My problem with I broke a prop last week, and it was just because of weight of the motor. If it wouldn't have been for weight of the motor, if you fall with 60 pounds on your back, it's hard to regain your step. So
Especially when
that's
you're
going to
strapped
help a
in.
lot.
Yeah, especially when you're strapped in, you don't have that range of motion to catch yourself.
Yep.
See,
Yep,
I have a
it's,
belly. I have a belly, so I keep my prop off the ground.
Prop protector. That's what you need to start saying.
Yeah.
Prop protector.
I used to build this belly up to protect my tool for like a shed, but
What are we talking about here?
What are we talking? I think we've gone off
The
topic,
ship was
Shane.
going
hold
south.
on. You guys aren't letting me finish. So now it's a buffer, a bouncer, like a barrier, if you will, from a paramotor prop and the cage and everything, so don't hit the ground.
That's better than telling everybody. I told everybody at the first time I met the whole crew when they were towing at the sod farms that my husband's in the shower and all I can hear is bzzz. Mind you, it's like the first sentence I say. It embarrassed me so much.
So you're in the shower and we're hearing humming, huh?
Bzzz.
Okay.
So he took the paramotor in the shower with him? How's that?
No,
work?
his phone, his videos. That's all you. But the guys got me. They were like, "Well, if you're hearing brrr in the shower, oh, it embarrassed me. It was so funny."
Hey, just be happy that he's not a free flight guy. I'm a free flight guy, so my wife constantly hears boop 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 boop.
Vario, the Vario.
Yeah.
Does
She
any
says
y'all's
that she
wives
has to.
fly?
No, he don't need that. No.
No,
We
that's
don't. We
for
don't.
free
We
flying.
couldn't afford our wives to fly.
Ah,
It's like my wife doesn't like lobster or crab legs or any of those things. And we go out on a date, it's really cheap. I don't want her to like to fly. That'd be too expensive.
Yeah, I don't like to fly, and I'm allergic to all that. So, yeah, I want
It's a
him to have
keeper,
his one
Shane.
thing.
I
That's a
scored
keeper,
big.
dude.
I'm telling you, I scored perfectly.
Well, the truth in it is I want him to have his one thing. He went from hobby to hobby to hobby. We got motorcycles and all that stuff, and he's finally got something that he is obsessed with. So
Well,
I
he's
think
an
I need to
adult.
put like a butt fan on me or something. That's what I call it. I'm like, did you get the butt fan? But anyway, sorry. I was not bad mouthing paramotor.
that's funny.
No, it's called a butt fan.
Oh, it really is?
Yeah.
I'll pick at him and I'm like, do I need to go get a butt fan or something?
I told a lady at a gas station I was getting some non-ethanol gas, filling it up. She said, "What is that thing for?" I said, "I get gassy, and my wife made me buy this thing. Very expensive way to get that smell downwind, but
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I got
can't wait
another
for it
question.
to happen.
All right, shoot.
Yes.
Okay, so I think one of my biggest concerns was I'm new, this is all going to be really new to me. I know I'm addicted already, but for other newbies that are looking into this, I think one of the fears is, how long have y'all been paramotoring and free flying? And, is it still something you enjoy? Is it going to be in a sport that you enjoy for as long as you live, or is it something where it's just going to be like,
I think that's pretty much personal. I think a lot of people are, get obsessed about doing it. Once they go to class, they're like, that was neat, on to the next. And then you have some people like me that goes out and flies every chance they get. Brian, he goes out and flies every chance he gets. So does Skinny Shane, goes out and flies. Tommy now, he's going out and flying with me every chance he gets. I've been flying for only 10 months, and I have about 150 flight hours and 200 hours on my my wing, because I kited for at least 50 hours before I even started. So in 10 months, I got 200 hours on my wing, and I go through about 5 gallons of gas a day.
wow.
I'll give
So-
you an answer like this also. Whenever you said you're into motorcycles, I've at one point had 9 different bikes, and I'd go out to Hallett, and eventually I get around that track and I can wheelie out of every turn. I can put a knee down into every turn. I can back it in. I go into the air, and every time I think I know what's going to happen because of my experience with different hobbies. You have every time it's so different. I don't care if it's the same field, the same flight. Every time you have a different experience, you see something different. You see a bird and all of a sudden it flies around you, or I think this thing that surprised me the most is how much you can see. We take out at, Pinnacle.
a triple rainbow.
Yeah.
Or you fly over a cloud and see a rainbow circle around your own shadow for the first time. You're like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's just so much different stuff to see, and it's always different. It's never the same. At the same, Hallett, that track is always the exact same. There's nothing going to change about it. The bump in turn 2 is going to be the bump in turn 2. Flying a paramotor is always a different experience.
And
It's
is.
when
So Shane, go ahead and chat and tell us what you think about this. Or when you first started, were you thinking that you're going to go out just on the weekends, or is this something that obsessed you also?
Well,
which Shane?
Shane,
sorry.
Shane, chef.
He's not in the air yet.
The skinny chef Shane.
Okay, so for
Skinny
me,
Shane, chef.
so my biggest thing on the weekends is staying in bed, and I've been married coming up on 25 years, and
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
I never liked leaving my bed because my wife was in it on the weekends. And I got my paramotor, and I'm like, get off me, woman. I got to go. Leave me alone. And she's kind of happy too, because she likes to sleep in. And if I'm there, I normally don't let her sleep in because, well, I'm ready to go do something exciting and fun. So I go and do my thing, and she gets to sleep in. So it's awesome. But once you take that first flight, I just will give you fair warning. That first flight, you come off the ground and you launch, and the ground starts leaving you. You will be. It's not good. I'm just gonna go ahead and warn you right now. It's not good. You will be just like, okay, I'm not coming in. And you'll be wondering how only
I think my
Sean burns only 5 gallons of fuel a day. I mean, it you don't want to come back down, and if you do, you want to go right back up. So understand. Yeah, you may Don, you may end up feeling a little distant. That's because he's going to be
it's already there. It's already there. So,
but you can't yell at him because he's not going to hear you at 2,000
right.
feet. Just so you know.
That works. I'll find me more hobbies.
You need a radio for that.
Yeah, I just got the Cena.
Yeah.
My wife called me. She's like, Yeah, I just got the Cena, and my wife's calling me. She's like, "Hey, do you know that we're supposed to be doing this?" I'm like, "I'm already on the ground at 2,500 feet. I'll be right there." Hurry up, get down, get down, get down. Which is paramotoring is the only time I've ever really lied to my wife. Honest, true story.
Oh, great.
And yeah, anytime she's like, "Are you landed yet?" I'm like, "Yep." She's like, "Well, GPS says you're." I'm like, "No, that's lying. It's bad."
It's on delay. It's on delay.
This is so true story. I'm telling you right now. I don't lie to the girl. I love her to death. She's my world. And when it comes to paramotor, I'm like, no, I didn't do anything dangerous today, as I went under high voltage power lines the other day. But we won't talk about that.
Well,
All right. Brian Haybale Waller.
knowledge is power.
Brian Haybale Waller, when you first started getting into this, is this something that you thought that you were going to be doing forever? Or is this something you thought, oh, just do it on the side? What was your thoughts?
No, man, I was very ambitious. The first time that you get in the air, Shane, hopefully you'll have an instructor in your ear or somebody that's knowledgeable walking you through part of it. But either way, you're going to be addicted, man. I mean, after that, I'm afraid of heights. I broke my leg in an airplane crash 30 years ago, and I was afraid of heights. I'm still afraid of heights. If I get on a 12-story balcony or something, my legs start shaking. But flying a paramotor is totally different. I mean, you get up there, once you're over 50, actually it doesn't scare me at all. I mean, I can be flying 5 feet off the ground and run straight into a bale of hay, and I'm not scared. But no, man, you're gonna love it. I've got about 63 flights in. I've got a runway in my front yard. My goal is to basically travel all over and fly with people, and just fly some really cool places. Seeing Tucker Gott fly over the Hoover Dam, I think, is probably my number one thing I want to do right now. But yeah, there's a lot of cool places, no doubt.
Brian, don't you mean to go to Ohio for the Prudent fly-in and hang out with me? That's what you're trying to say, right?
That was September, right?
Yeah, September 4th through the 7th.
I'll put it. I'll keep an eye on it.
Come on,
man.
You're retired. You got nothing better to do. Limp around. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of hobbies just like the rest of y'all, man. And one of them is, I'm a bow hunter, and I like to go out to Colorado every fall and go archery hunting for elk. And I'm not very successful, but I love to be in the woods, and man, that's some good meat. I don't know if you ever had any.
I know we talked about this. I was just giving you some grief about it.
But I'll take my paramotor out there when I go from now on, and I can't hunt the same day I fly. It's a legal issue, but I can still go fly in the mountains, and that's why I got the Monster 185, so I could take off from 6,000 or 7,000 feet high.
That's right.
Fly. Yep.
Shane, what motor are you looking at getting? You haven't bought, correct? You haven't bought any gear yet?
I've not bought any gear yet. Of course, my dream is actually a Kangook frame and a Moster 185. But right now I'm just trying to get my feet wet in the sport. So my next question for everybody was, what do y'all think about used or new? Let's go, wings and paramotors. I mean, what's y'all's outlook on that?
My outlook is a new wing, and you could go a used motor or a new motor, but as far as a wing, I would go new, just because that's what's holding you up there. That's what's keeping you safe. A motor just pushes you. What do you guys think?
Exactly. Just remember, the wing enables you to fly. The motor just gets you out air, altitude. But I think that if you got a used wing and you send it off and had it tested and certified for a couple $100, you'd probably be safe too. But panel may disagree.
I will tell you right now. Over at Four Winds, Shannon Michael, she will certify a wing and have it tested from it. Like, I think it's like less than $100.
Wow.
So
new, babe, new. Thank you.
No, use. If you
I
get
want him to get new. If he's going to be in the air, Like it.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that I think on that is there's a lot of brand new wings that get bought and used for 2 or 3 months, and people are like, I don't need a Mojo powered. I want a B wing, and now they've got this $1,500 Mojo powered that's got 20 hours on it. It's
$1,500.
He meant 35.
Try 4,000.
He meant
Try
3,500.
4,000.
Man, I've seen so many Mojo powers on sites for cheap. 2017, 2000. I just because I'm looking for something with trims on it. I'm not gonna buy a Mojo, but man, like I've seen some cheap ones out there used.
Yeah, I think a beginner wing, you're more likely to find more of those out there, beginner wings.
Yeah,
It's almost like baby clothes. Like you're buying baby clothes. You can buy brand new baby clothes, but used baby clothes are only used for a couple of months.
Right. Okay.
Well, and I will tell you right now, there's a lot of dislike for the Nuvik link, or actually the Nuvik brand wings. I have a beginner wing. It's a wing. I bought it brand new. It's a Link 2, and I find I've been told many times that no one can keep up with my wing because I'm so fast on it. And when you go
Because
to
you're so fat on it?
Yeah, that's what I said. Fat on it. Yes.
Oh.
Actually, believe it or not, I'm right in the mid.
I'm gonna make sure you just see my head.
I would, Dawn. I have so many jokes, but I won't because I don't know you that well.
Oh yeah, you're totally fine.
Anyways, I get a lot of comments on how fast the wing is, and I have no intentions on selling this wing and moving on to something better or faster. I'm totally happy with it. I wouldn't change it right now for nothing. I'm at about 60 hours of flight time and probably 90 hours of kiting total. So I'm holding on to this thing, but you can get a used wing that doesn't have that many hours on it. I just seen the other day a Moster. I can't even remember what frame it was on. It was a Moster 185. It had 0.6 hours on it. It was on sale they had it for sale for like $3,900 or something. I was like, holy crap, it's got 0.6 hours. Doesn't even have an hour on it. They're already selling it. Why? I think it's somebody that probably didn't know what they were doing. They tried to fly, got scared, don't want nothing to do with this sport no more, and is willing just to sell everything and be done with it.
Oh no.
So
Awesome.
Yeah,
welcome back, Don.
Sorry, my phone's going dead.
Just so y'all know, I bought
I know,
my
I gotta
wing.
find it. Hang on.
My first wing used. So somebody at Aviator went through the training class, purchased a brand new custom color wing that was blue and black, colors I really liked. And I guess they decided they want a B-rated wing, so they basically backed out on it. And I got it as a used price because the Aviator decided they wanted to use it as a training wing in class. And they opened it up for my class, and actually 6 people out of the 8 people in my class soloed on my wing. And I bought it used. After a guy in the class damaged the wing by getting it in his prop, Aviator sent it off to a shop. He flew it in his plane, had it fixed overnight, and brought it right back. And I saved like $700 on a wing.
All right. My next question, since we're on the wing topic, do y'all recommend? There's so many different sizes of wings, and it was really hard to find some good information with being weighted on a wing. How do y'all go about with, where is the good weight range ratio? Like, do you want to be more on the heavy side, more on the light side, right dead in the middle? I mean, how do y'all come up with information like that?
Well, we got Kevin Can Fly. He is an instructor. He teaches lots of students. So Kevin, if you are available to answer that question, what weight range would be good on a wing? Could you give us your opinion? You're muted. We can't hear you.
Who are we
There
talking
we
about?
go. Hello
Kevin
and
can
welcome.
fly.
Hello and welcome, everybody. Sorry I'm
Who's-
tardy.
Who's Kevin?
So to answer the question that you've asked, the general rule of thumb for a student is that you want to be about 70 to 80% of the gross weight range. And when you measure your gross weight range, that's your body, the motor, and the wing. So you also have to account for the weight of the wing as well. So if you weigh 190 pounds and then your motor is 60 pounds and your wing is 10 pounds, that's going to be your collective all up weight, is every single thing that leaves the ground.
Okay.
Write that
Including-
down, babe. Write that down.
Hey, Shane,
including your gas,
I
which
would-
I usually leave with 5 gallons, which is an extra 30 pounds of gas.
I would like to hear his opinion on used wings also, because yeah, that would be.
Used wings are fantastic if you have an inspection report or know the person you're getting it from,
Or know
and
the
that
person.
it was cared for. If you ever have a question, I know it seems kind of perplexing to spend the $125 and then the shipping, but it's better to spend $125 and find out that that wing is not for you than it is to spend, say, $2,000 and get a wing that now needs a $700 set of lines or something put on it.
Love that answer. That's awesome.
So
But-
Kevin, what do you think about a new person just getting into the sport? Do you think they should get a new wing and a used motor, or what do you think about that?
Well, my recommendation is always, if you're on a budget, is to spend your money on a new wing and a used motor. Your body literally hangs from the wing. It doesn't hang from the motor. So an older wing that may be out of trim, especially for a new pilot, he's going to have a hard time kiting it and have success with launches because the wing's going to have poor characteristics. If it's a new wing, then you're essentially starting new. So the wing is only going to get as beat up as you beat it up. You don't have to worry about somebody has teared it up before you. And I'd love to believe that everybody in the world is honest, but when they say it has 5 hours, it's crisp, and it's never been wet, there's generally a reason why they're selling a used wing. Maybe it's because, like you pointed out, they want to move up to a B wing. Maybe it's because they bought a wing that was too hot for them and they needed to step down. Maybe it's because they got that wing and kited it into a couple of bushes, had to put a couple of patches on it, and decided that they now have gotten past their bumps and want a new one. So when you look at a used wing, especially from a student standpoint, you definitely are going to want to have somebody with you who has the knowledge and expertise to be able to look at what it is that's being offered and be able to disseminate its character and the type of longevity you can expect to get from it. Some wings you can get basically brand new for arguably $1,000 off. Some wings you can get with 275 hours and the guy still wants retail. So that's where having the mentor will help you decide which is worth, and that's the key word, worth, the money you're spending towards it. If you buy new, there's never a question because new is in fact new.
Here's my next question. How long do wings typically last? I know you've got to consider UV and all normal wear and tear, but on an average, how long do typical wings last?
With proper care, you can expect 300 hours or more. So if you send your glider off once a year for inspection, keep it properly maintained, keep it out of the sun, keep it dry, do all the proper things with your wing, you should expect to see 300 to 500 hours out of a wing. If you do a lot of flying out of wet fields and you say land, your wing's wet, you pack it up wet, you never let it air out, that type of repetitious behavior can make a wing fail at 150 hours. So it's all about how it's cared for.
Is the myth about colors on a wing true? I mean, if you're getting a wing that you're wanting to last and break the world record for how long it lasts, all white?
No, that used to be the case back before we got really good at making high grade materials. And now that the materials are becoming better and lighter, that doesn't really matter the color. It's still the same material. They've just dyed the plastic. And this is one of the things that I think is really important for people to understand is the wing itself is made out of ripstop nylon. Ripstop nylon is just simply nylon, and nylon is simply a fun way of saying plastic. So we all have plastic wings. When you think about what plastic does in sun, what plastic does in heat, those are the big things that are going to deteriorate your wing the fastest. So anytime you can use climate controlled, keeping your wing inside the house, put it inside your closet, don't leave it in your garage, don't leave it in your car. Those kind of things, the drastic temperature swings, that stuff will help break down the plastic faster. That will take hours away from your wing. But the color doesn't really have as much anymore. It used to be that case when the nylons weren't as good and the materials were a lot heavier. You would have like a black or a blue wing or a dark purple wing would absorb more sunlight, would break down and deteriorate the fabric quicker. Now the material is much better. We don't have that problem as much.
So if you fly like early in the morning where the UV light is not harsh, and you fly in the evening where the UV light is not harsh, you stay away from sand, snow, gravel, and stuff like that. Way over 300, maybe 500, especially if you get it annually inspected, Kevin?
Yeah, if it's properly cared for, if you put it away dry, fold it up properly, care for the nose, and then have all of your inspection periods done when they're supposed to be, arguably supposed to be done. And, you know, as much as it's easy to say and not so easy to do, being without your wing for 7 to 10 days, to give it to a glider shop and not have something to fly for 7 or 10 days is like telling a junkie they can't get high. Like it's just painful. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. Knowing the safety of your equipment and being able to put 100%, 110% confidence and faith into your equipment is paramount when you're going 3, 5, 7, 10,000 feet into the air.
Yeah, I'm having to send mine out. In case y'all didn't know, I decided to not turn around and kite my wing back down, and it floated forward nicely into my hot muffler and burnt a big hole in it. So I laughed it off. No problem. What am I going to do? Oh, I'll send it off and I'll buy a new wing. So
Just money.
I got a new wing coming in tomorrow. So now that's my excuse to have a second wing. I am not worried about it.
So you're saying your wing? Are you saying your wing got exhausted?
Ha ha ha! Yes. And if I was running in front of a car, I got tired. Anyway, yes, I know
Yes.
those are great. All right.
So if you fly on Sunday, that wing can be the one that you fly on Sunday because it's holy.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I like
Yeah, it's a church wing.
Hey, I have a question for the guest, Shane.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so I know you've been doing a lot of research online and whatnot. I mean, do you have any plans to potentially go to a school or get any kind of professional training, or are you really just going to try to do it on your own?
So when I first started this, I was really trying to save money, and I was like, well, I'll just, I've watched so many videos, I'll just train myself. And I was like, okay, this is easy, no problem. I knew nothing, absolutely nothing. And I was actually watching one of Kylo's videos, and he said that he got some training from Britton Shaw. And so I looked up Mr. Britton and was like, okay, I'm going to call him and, see what all we can do. So I called him and he invited me up to Oklahoma, and I went up there for the first time ever and I kited a wing. Well, I've never really been around wings that size. I have kites and, I've started understanding the aerodynamics of, the wing in the air, but never anything so big. So I go to the mountaintop, and knowing nothing, I'm like, yeah, cool, let's do this. I strap up to the wing, and they're like, okay, pull up the A's. I didn't know anything, so I was like, well, what are A's? So they took it back off. They showed me pretty much a quick rundown of everything, and I strapped back up to it and pulled it up. Well, a nice little gust of wind came, and it was probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 miles per hour. It was a real light wind, and it kind of pulled me around, and it threw me on a whole different loop. I was just completely mind blown about how different it is in my head, thinking that I can just do this myself. I don't recommend self-training. It can be very dangerous. So I've definitely got an instructor, and anybody looking for an instructor, Mr. Britton is fantastic. He really knows what he's talking about, and he can help you do pretty much anything you're wanting to do. So I went the instructor way.
I think that's the appropriate thing to do. JP, our IT guy, is putting some pictures up here, some videos. What are we looking at, JP?
This is actually last week's guest. I saw that he just uploaded a video instead of having just all of our faces on it. That would be cool to have some launching shots in the background.
Speaking about
Britain's most of our. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Speaking about YouTube, real quick, Shane, what is your YouTube channel? Do you have one, and can we get to it?
Got one, but I've not uploaded anything just yet. I'm thinking about doing some newbie how-to videos. I think me and you talked about that, and well, I just feel like it would be.
No, he's not on there yet. He doesn't. Yeah, he's got to have my help, you guys.
My wife is definitely the technical
He
person.
works so much that he's just now finally getting me some videos. So he works constantly. So.
Hey, all of us pilots would be lucky to have a camera person on the ground and take video and help the process.
Exactly.
So, Dawn, you'll be appreciated, I assure you.
Oh, that's the part. That's one of my hobbies. I want a really nice camera and stuff. So, and I want a Mac. I gave our son starts college basketball. He starts college. Well, actually, the 18th, like coming up very quick. But anyways, I gave him my Mac, and I'm like, oh no, I can't live life without my Mac. So I need a Mac and a really nice camera.
You know, I got to get my paramotor first, and then we can.
No, it's fine. I can do it with my phone.
So I'm thinking a paramotor and everything all together is about $10,000 hobby. What could you do, Don, with $10,000 for your photography hobby?
I don't need really much, really. I mean, nah.
In photography, that just pays for one lens. That's nothing.
Ain't that?
I know. I mean, to be honest with you, I really want him to have something that he can do, you know? I mean, our life has kind of revolved around, we opened a business, and then, you know, COVID came, and he's not really been sociable. He moved here from DeWitt, Arkansas to Searcy, left his whole family for me and my kids. So, I mean, it's whatever. I support him. I'll pick at him. But I guess if I didn't pick at him, he probably wouldn't think I cared. So he needs to see it as a positive, not a negative. So, but yeah, I mean, I've got a camera.
In all
I'm
fairness,
not an expensive person.
In all fairness, every man that achieves greatness is always driven by a great woman. So that means you're doing something good.
I don't know about all that, but I can approve. I agree with Dawn. If I'm not picking on you, I don't like you. And I haven't picked on Kevin yet, so
we know about your domestic rap sheet, Shane. We don't need to hear about your marital problems.
Oh, I got no rap sheet at all. I got no rap
Kevin,
sheet
I
at
hope
all.
you're right, man. But if you are right, I'm screwed because I don't have a good woman behind me, man. By the way, single.
You barely got a leg to stand on.
Oh, now that's mean. Now watch. We'll talk to him next, and he'll be limping or something. You better watch it.
Well, maybe if he back talks you, but not from paramotoring. She didn't say no. She just laughed it through.
So I'm very happy that Shane is really looking at doing this. He's got an instructor. He is taking his time. He's learning. He has a good woman that's backing him. It's like, please learn and learn and learn, and make sure you don't do anything silly. So since we're kind of like at 8 o'clock, we're at the kind of the end of the show. Let's go ahead and finish this show up. JP, if you're there, can you spool up Brian Haybale Waller's little incident real quick and show Don what can happen if
Again?
Let's not
Really?
do that.
Again, I gotta see. Let me see.
Let's not do that.
So
I don't care, guys.
I've probably seen it if it's on YouTube.
I mean,
full
disclosure. I mean, I'm a newbie too. You know, I've got
Well,
63 flights, and I've been flying for less than a year. So, yeah.
Well,
So I got a
what
question
happened?
for Shane.
Where'd you go? Oh.
I'm curious to know at this point so far, what has been your most frustrating portion of this?
Well, to be honest, that would be just not being able to get into the air right now.
Sure.
And the next thing would be probably trying to kite. Like, I can reverse kite extremely well. You know, I can get the wing up, hold it up, reverse kite, and forward launch. But whenever it comes just to forward launching by itself, that's a different story. Which some of the videos I've watched, they said that forward launching is a lot harder than reverse launching, and I can definitely vouch for that. So if anybody has any pointers out there that, you know, I love learning new stuff.
Since you live so close, whenever you want to go and kite, just let me know. This is Brian Haybale Waller, and the reason why he's got his name Haybale is because
I saw this.
Yeah, he thought he was Superman foot.
Yeah, is that your foot that got broke really bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it already.
Not
You didn't know you were talking to a famous person, did you?
It was terrible. Oh.
Did you see that airplane up there on the top right? You had an airplane that went above you. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, yeah.
I just saw that, and I think I've seen your.
Yeah, I knew he was there.
That's cool.
I had one fly under me Saturday that was less than 100 feet from us.
That is really cool. We got to be careful about that.
That is not cool. That's scary. Does the wind come off of that or something?
I don't know.
It was beautiful weather, and I was just practicing. I was still practicing flying low, maintaining my altitude while making turns. I see these two bales of hay, like, yeah, I'm gonna split that gap, and I get target fixation.
Oh, I saw it. I saw it again.
Yeah.
Oh.
You sound like Don. You sound like the first time me and my wife were together. I saw it. I saw it for the first time.
I saw it. I saw it. There it was. I saw this one already.
Once I see,
I think it just made my face turn red. That was embarrassing. I broke my arm real bad, and that just brought back memories. Ugh, that's so bad.
I hate watching it, but I can't look away. It's every time. I'm just like, oh, here we go.
So since we have a newbie here, we probably have newbies that are watching. Brian, go ahead and give us your takeaway on what happened and why this will not happen to a newbie. Brian Waller.
Well, hopefully a newbie won't put themselves in the same situation that I did, like an idiot. But no, I was having fun, man. And to be honest with you, most of you are going to do the same thing. You're going to want to fly low. Yep. It's fun to get up high, you know, and see the good eagle view and get over clouds and all that. But to me, flying low is kind of where it's at. You know, I never fly without a GoPro, so I had a GoPro rolling here, luckily, and got a little good footage on it. And, Tucker did a review of it, got a bunch of views. But yeah, you know, obviously I got target fixation, hindsight, you know, that last 100 yards flying into between the bales of hay, I was staring at the one on the left because I was going towards it, and I was going towards it because I was staring at it. And you know, basically I made some bad corrections. At the end, I should have gave a throttle. I should have pulled both brakes to flare over the bales of hay. But, you know, I made a mistake. That was flight number 63 for me. I got 20 hours on that motor. And, you know, I broke the prop, did a little damage to the net, but the main thing was the damage to my ego and the leg. But luckily, I'm 7.5 weeks post accident now, and I'm walking around without crutches. And optimistically, I'll be flying in a month. So yeah, I was down and out for less than 3 months. It sucks. It cost me some money, but you know, nothing's going to hold me back. That's just how I feel about paramotoring. I mean, it's just such a cool sport to be a part of. It's not just the experience of paramotor flying, but it's the community and the family you become part of. You know, these people that are here in this chat right now, all the people I trained with down at Aviator, I mean, I'm still in contact with most of them. And you know, now I know people in most states to go fly with. I just got to get out there and do it.
All I heard was a long-winded story about how you were trying to meet women, so you thought you'd pick up some nerve.
Hey, chicks dig scars, man. I got a 5-inch scar on my left leg, so we'll see.
I was aiming for a catheter. She was supposed to put it in.
All I got was an enema.
Oh gosh.
Wow. Gotta settle for something, man. Gotta settle for something.
I believe everybody
some
in
action.
this panel right here, if you had an injury, you would be right back at it too as soon as you could. I mean, you know, it's just something you fall in love with, and I really look forward to seeing your video, Shane, go up on the internet. And yeah, I don't want to see you in the hospital like that, but I want to see some good flying videos.
Well, I got a fun one on my channel you guys can watch.
Yeah, what's that?
You could pull it up, JP. It's called I Ate Shit, No Clickbait.
Hey, I watched that. No, is that the one where you've hold on, I eat shit, no clickbait. I saw that title.
I bottomed out going downwind.
I've seen so many too. Don't tell my husband. So I do watch them, but then I get freaked out.
It did. I didn't get hurt. It ruined a prop, but I didn't get hurt.
Okay, so since we're talking about props real quick, a show of hands, how many people have destroyed a prop at least once?
Oh, at least one.
Okay,
Not
we got
PPG Grandpa.
Kevin.
Everybody says that they at least have one. Everybody he's talked to.
Did
Not
I?
PPG Grandpa.
No,
Not yet.
And I know because I
you
have the
shouldn't have
angel,
said that.
and look at what I've done. Yeah, I did the same thing Kevin did. I did the same thing that Tommy did. I have not done what Brian did, but I have done some crazy things, and it has bounced all over the place, and it always bounces back. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to ppgangel.com and check out the SkyTap paramotor. It's built like a tank.
To clarify, my paramotor, or excuse me, my prop never hit the ground. What happened is my cage drug a whole bunch of rocks up into the freaking into the prop, and then the rocks hit the prop, blowing it up.
Yeah. My prop actually hit the cage when the cage deflected back from the bale of hay, and the prop actually hit the titanium frame and broke.
So
I think I did the same thing last Wednesday. I trying to get my wing to pop up a little quicker. I gassed it a little too early to taxi. The thrust line caught the wing, just kind of threw me over, and I fell. And yep, I broke one last Wednesday night trying to fly around.
What is this? An old
was my first one.
VHS or Betamax tape? What the hell?
I put a filter on it.
It's a cool filter. Yeah, I like it.
This is what I was used to seeing in like the 80s. Why are we seeing
No,
this
I
in
like
the 4K
it.
age? Well, then you were
Filters
the
are better.
80s.
Yeah, because it's crash footage. So I figured I would give it that whole like 8mm feel of like, you know, when that whole, and it was at this moment he knew he had blanked up.
Well, actually, they said that filters will actually get you more views than regular if you have filters on.
Oh, I've
So
had
on
a filter on
some
this whole
markings.
show.
I don't know how you have a filter.
That's why
on
he's
this.
skinny and buff.
Yeah.
So if you pay any attention to the windsock, I was going upwind. Now I'm going downwind. And as you see, the hill has just a slight rise in the middle. So as I'm going downwind right here, you'll see that Gabe climbs right as he gets to the top as I'm descending. And what happens is right as I get to the top of this hill, I get to the low pressure and I just get dumped. And so I'm on the throttle trying to climb out and it's just not climbing. And here I am, I'm running, and that's where your feet can't keep up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now show my video of the same thing and how I was able to turn at 90 degrees and save it because I was on the angel
well,
frame.
wait a minute, Kevin. You
I
say
was
you
about
had
to say, didn't we
a
see the
broke prop
rock?
from that? I mean, you
The
broke
one I
prop here,
saw
right?
had rocks coming through the thing.
Yeah, so as I'm running,
Oh,
the
there they are.
cage actually bottoms out and contacts the gravel road. And when the cage contacts the road, the prop just because I was at full throttle trying to get out of the sink, and I was just I mean, that literally as you watch, I'm just sinking and sinking at full throttle trying to climb, and I'm just falling into a dark hole. And the cage hits the ground, and as soon as the cage hits the ground, it just lifts all that gravel right through the propeller, and it just blew the prop up.
How long
Do you
ago was
ever-
this, Kevin?
That was back in like February.
Okay.
Do you ever come across phenomenons like that? I've actually had a friend that broke his back skydiving. He's coming into land and he's full flare. I mean, full flare, and it looks like he's free falling. I mean, he hit the ground going 40. Do you ever have a downdraft like that, or is that? I don't know. I've seen some crazy things happen in certain spots.
So this right here is what we like to refer to as the downwind demon. And the wind will hit the upside of the hill and compress. And on the backside of the hill, it's a low pressure because the wind basically rides up and over the hill. And so as soon as you hit that low pressure, it's basically the same as flying into rotor almost. There's just nothing. There's no density there to keep you up. And
Okay.
the air is descending, so it's pushing you down into the ground.
Hey,
So,
hey,
Kev-
JP, if you'll go to my channel and pull up a video that's called Botched Landing, it's one of the last 5 videos I released. You'll see at the very end where I land, you'll see some pretty bad sink.
Yeah, I had a question for Kevin. The same thing happened to me on the motor out, or the engine, or the ran out of fuel. As soon as I came out of my seat, it literally dropped me 10 feet, and it's just like I just hit a pocket.
Yeah, it's like you just fall out of the sky.
Yeah, and you hear me in there go, "Whoa!" I just
Whoa.
dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "What the hell was?"
We call it flying through a hole.
Okay, I was just
That's
kind of
the-
curious.
That's the main reason why when we teach students, we teach them to land with their hands way up high, building all the speed they can. Because if
Right.
you fly through a hole like that and your hands are up, the glider normally has time to correct for what's going on. When you're already at minimum sink and you fly into a hole, it's the same as having no flare. It's like Tommy said, you can literally bury your hands and there's just nothing there. There's no pressure. And the glider works on pressure. So when there's no pressure, it's just a rag above your head and you start falling out of the sky.
No, I was curious because I've never had that experience before, and here I am with running out of fuel, coming into land, and it just happened to be perfect timing. As soon as I come out of my seat, I just drop. I was just like, "What was that?" I had no idea.
See, and a more efficient wing is less prone to respond to that than a less efficient wing. So if you're flying, say, like a paraglider wing with your paramotor, that sink isn't going to be nearly as bad as a reflex wing, because a reflex wing is basically designed to dive, and we use the motor to level out.
Oh, I see what you did there.
All right, so if you back that up a little bit, this runway runs north to south, and there was a wind out of the southeast blowing across the top of these trees. As soon as I dropped below the top of these trees to the right here, I mean, I just dropped. I mean, and I go from no flare to full flare, boom, just like that. And I do a knee
Is this
and
a
butt
golf
skid.
course, Brian?
Yeah, we got golf carts, but no, it's our grass run right in the front yard.
No, is it a golf course?
No, it's not a golf course, but we just have golf carts.
That's convenient.
That white golf cart to the right is my paramotor buggy. Basically, I can strap my paramotor on the back, throw the wing on the roof, and go launch them anywhere in the property.
So Brian, do you have permission to hunt this property?
Yes, I do. I own it.
Oh, well, hey, best friend, how you doing, sir? I tell you how awesome you are.
So I'm watching this video and I have an awesome idea, which is I want that golf cart to be at full speed down the runway, and I want to foot drag the roof without actually dragging my foot. I want to just touch it, leave it there while we both drive down the runway together.
I have
Awesome.
a
I
video
gotta correct
somewhere of
myself,
Andrew
guys.
Fuller doing
I
that.
said I own it. It's my family's property. I gotta correct myself.
Hey, I'm willing to be
That
adopted.
means you own it
But
too.
I have
Taylor.
permission to hunt on it. I'll put it that way.
My mom hasn't told me no yet.
Yeah. Until I hurt myself.
Oh,
Oh, you did,
262. I already picked up another subscriber.
So I got another question. Another thing I was looking into was hang points for the paramotor. What's the difference in high, medium, low, and weight shift? What do y'all feel about all of them?
So Miroslav put out a great video if you want to go look up the Scout paramotor videos, and he explains the differences between the three, what makes one better than another one. Essentially, the best middle of the road paramotor you can get is a mid hang point with swan arms. It's not the best for stability, nor is it the best for torque, but it is the quote best for the all-around experience.
Okay.
High hang points are kind of antiquated. People don't really use them anymore. Low hang points are good if you have the feeling to fly the seat board and use a lot of the weight shift that it provides you. With the swan arms, you get both the weight shift, but it also provides a lot of stability because your chest strap that connects the swan arms together in the front, if you slack that strap out, it'll give you more weight shift. And if you pull that strap tight, it'll take away your weight shift. So you actually have the ability with a mid hang point system to adjust how much weight shift you allow the paramotor to give you.
Hey, Kevin, can you explain what swan arms are?
So if you look at the picture, the guy that says sucks in both, and you see how the arm comes from the red connection point, it swoops under his armpit, up to the carabiner, and then back down to where the seat connects. That big swooping motion, that's what they call a swan arm because it kind of resembles a swan's neck. So some arms come straight out. Some arms have a little dip and then go straight out. And then some arms articulate in both directions. So there's straight arms, and then there's J bars, and then there's swan arms. And that's how they differentiate them.
Okay.
And fixed, like mine on the Angel.
Correct.
These are great questions, by the way. Really good questions.
My next question would be, what do y'all think about clutch versus non-clutch?
I definitely recommend a clutch, but not having one is not a deal breaker. I have a Moster Classic that doesn't have a clutch, and I fly it and teach with it. It's not anything that will stop you from having fun. It's just something that you have to be conscious of when you're on the ground. You can't turn around and look at your wing. If you turn around and look at the wing, you'll suck the lines into the prop, and then you'll be starting everything all over.
I also had both too. My first motor was Moster 185 Classic, which was a straight prop, no clutch, and I liked it. It revved up quickly, and it felt like it had a lot of thrust. And then I moved up to a Moster 185 My 19 with a clutch, and to me, I don't know, it really feels like I lost a lot of thrust when I went from a non-clutch to a clutched. Also, it's more maintenance when you deal with a clutch.
The biggest difference that I'll say I notice is when I'm flying and I go to idle. With a direct drive unit, you feel that the motor is still running. When you have a clutched unit and you go to idle, you can get the sensation that the motor gave up on you at idle. And then you tap the throttle and everything comes back to life and it's idling fine. But because there's absolutely no load, you can get the sensation that the motor doesn't run, especially if you have like a top 80 or an Atom 80, something that's a smaller motor. The small motors are quiet and you don't hear them over the hearing protection. So you have no idea if the motor quit or not. The only way you know is by grabbing some throttle, and if it revs up, it's still good.
All right, my next question is, when it comes to transportation and travel, how long does it usually take to, set everything up? Like if you want to be somewhere and you want to be up in the air, let's just say for a sunrise, how much time do you really need for setting up and getting ready to get in the air?
I give myself 30 minutes. That's 15 minutes to observe and then 15 minutes to set out my gear and go flying.
Are you talking about actually packing up everything onto your vehicle to take off? I mean, to get to an LZ, or what time are you talking about?
So you've got everything packed up, ready to go, and you just arrived at the LZ and you're getting everything unpacked, getting ready to go.
I would say you need more than 30 minutes.
Definitely what Kevin is talking about, at least 30 minutes. You want to get there 30 minutes before you fly, because you want to be able to put your window meter out there, and you want to check to see what the treetops are doing, if the wind is staying constant, if it's switchy, if it's staying laminar or going in one direction. Because if it's going in one direction, then turning around to 180 degrees, you probably don't want to fly anytime soon.
A lot of times that'll depend on where you're flying too. I mean,
Yep.
Sean and I, we've come out to a field before, and if we're out at the sod farm, we throw up a windsock, we throw our stuff out, we try to get up quick. We know what it's going to do there, but we went to this little bitty spot by my house. I think we looked at the wind for a good, just stood there and watched the wind for quite a while, just watching it switch, watching it this, and all of a sudden it was, one flag was doing one thing, one flag was doing another.
My internet sucks.
Yeah, we were just,
Should have reset the Wi-Fi.
That all depends on where you're flying out of too, but I think that the more time you get to look at it, the better. So
It depends on your area with how long you've been flying out of it as well. The compound that I fly out of, the winds change directions constantly. You could show up 30 minutes before the sun comes up and have the wind change 6 different times. It just depends.
Yeah, so that's a good point that I was going to make about the morning. If you fly early in the morning, because it's generally really calm in the morning, you want to have at least 15 minutes or more of what I call observation time. Okay. So you want to get to the field, set out your windsock first thing, and before you even unpack your motor or unpack your wing, you do what I call a mental reset, because we have what we call get there-itis. We're all excited to go fly. Sometimes you hit a red light and you're just like, come on, I want to go. Why? There's not even anyone here. And you get that anxiety built up. When you set out the windsock and you give yourself that 15, 20 minutes, especially when there's other pilots around, you discuss basically anything and everything that's not going flying. You discuss the kids, the wife's cooking last night, the smoke, the brisket you did, whatever it is, and you just mentally reset your brain to start over. And in that 15 minutes of chatter time, you just keep your eye on the windsock, and if it lays dead limp the whole time, you just pick your direction, lay out your wing, and go fly. If the wind is generally coming from one direction, but kind of switches every now and then, you're going to want to lay your wing out in the direction that it most often comes from. But then you have to then exercise patience, because even a 1 mile an hour tailwind is enough to make a launch difficult. So if you wait and watch the windsock, even if it's just a puff, the little puff in your right direction is going to give you 10% or even 20% better chance of having a good launch versus being impatient. So that observation time lets you see what the predominant wind direction is, especially when it's super duper light, because a lot of windsocks won't even register the wind when it's that light. Sometimes you have to use a little bottle of talc powder or like I have my vapor pen, I'll blow some vape and I just kind of watch the way the cloud drifts. And then that will tell me what to actually go in a direction for.
All right. So for me and my LZ, which is the compound, I get there in the morning. I'm always 9 out of 10 times the first one there. I set my windsock up, and because I live in Florida, we got 4,000 billion mosquitoes that are just wearing you out. So I do like Kevin says with his vape pen. I puff on that a couple of times. I look at to see which way the wind is going. I lay my wing out according to that. And then if the wind changes direction in the morning, I don't move my wing. I wait. I'm already hooked in, everything ready to go. And I just wait because I know it's going to come back the other way. Okay. And as soon as the wind changes back into the direction that I'm facing, I take off. I've never had an issue with it. Not saying it's right. I'm just saying this is how I do it. I have not had any issues doing it. I've watched guys come out there and change their setup 6 times to end up back where they were and then still have a failed launch because the winds are so shifty out of the compound. It's just weird out there. It's very flat, but then you have a couple of trees that change everything out there for whatever reason. I don't know why. There's a couple of trees, sets of trees out there that can make your day or break your day easily.
And for like people that are trying to get into the sport, I was trying to find good apps to use, like Windy and things like that. What would y'all recommend be some good apps to start preparing yourself, learning how to read the weather and everything?
So here's the really, really easy way to do it. Most cell phones come with the Weather Channel app.
Yep.
And you can download Windy. What you do is you look at Windy, and Windy will give you elevations. You can look at surface, 300 meters, 900 meters, so on, all the way up to 14,000, 15,000 feet. What you want to be looking at is that both of them, the two apps, are agreeing with each other, basically. If you look at the Weather Channel app and it says that the morning is supposed to be 5 miles an hour worth of wind, and then you look at Windy and Windy says it's going to be 11, it's questionable because you don't know if it'll be 5 or 11 or anywhere in between. If you look at the Weather Channel app and you look at Windy and they both say it's going to be 7 from the west, you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be 7 from the west. It's not about trusting one or the other. It's about using more than one to compare the data to see that the data agrees with itself. Because I use ForeFlight, which is a paid aviation app. Then I use Windy, and I use NOAA, and I use the NOAA satellite imagery for clouds. And I look at the MM5, which the MM5 is a funky little table that comes out of Washington State University. And what that does is that tells you what the constant rate of temperature is for climb. So if you can read the MM5, what that tells you is your standard lapse rate for temperature. And that tells you how the thermals are going to build for the day. So it shows you basically it's 2 lines. And if the 2 lines stay together, that means that it's going to be standard lapse rate. So that's 3 degrees per every 1,000 feet you go up. The temperature is going to drop 3 degrees. When those lines start to deviate, that's when you start seeing a more than 3 degrees per 1,000 feet. So as it gets colder in elevation, everything is driven by temperature. The clouds, the wind, everything is driven by the earth heating up and the earth cooling down. So when you look at that temperature divide and you consider it's going to be colder than 3 degrees per 1,000 feet, not warmer, that hot air is going to go farther up into the sky. So you can estimate that the thermals will take you to, say, 5,000 feet or 9,000 feet based on what the MM5 says. So if the MM5 says that at 2 o'clock, we're going to see that temperature divide, then I know that the thermals won't build that day until about 2 o'clock. And that's when the day is going to get what we call big. So if you get into a big thermal, the safety is to just stay in it, core it, and climb it. We don't fly that way with paramotors because we just try to avoid that type of weather. but knowing what time of day to expect what weather is the best way to go about it. The more information, the more knowledge you have, the better prepared you can be to make better decisions. So like, for instance, Shane did a poker run. They took off and went cross country. I'm going to call it 25 miles. They landed, refueled, got their poker chips. And then on the way back, the weather changed and it forced them to land in between their two destinations. It wasn't necessarily anyone's fault that they did that, because everyone agreed that the weather was marginal and they all went and attempted to have the flight anyway. It's okay when you understand the weather and you anticipate maybe landing in the middle or having a forced landing. What you don't want is to think that my day is going to be golden and then find yourself in that situation. That's when it becomes scary. That's what becomes problematic. The way I look at it is, if you can do barrel rolls and sats and spirals and helicos and all the other cool tricks on the planet, that doesn't make you a good pilot. That just makes you cool at flying. A good pilot is someone that makes good choices. And good choices are always derived by information, not by feelings. Your feelings help you guide the information, but the information, having the information base, is what you should be relying on to remain safe.
Another question. Do y'all recommend, just
Yes.
for more just for more expense wise, do y'all recommend parachute or reserves or not reserves?
Always a reserve if you can afford it.
Okay.
There's no reason not to have a second chance if you can afford a second chance. If you can afford a third chance, you can even hang a third chance on your paramotor. A lot of harnesses have a zip-in pocket on the side where you can actually get the manufacturer's container that makes the harness and the reserve all one system. And then you can secondarily get a lap-mounted reserve. And so if you were to get into trouble, you could throw the lap-mounted reserve as a primary. And then if the lap-mounted reserve got tangled up in your main wing or something malfunctioned and it wasn't working out like you wanted it to, then you can reach down and throw a second reserve. And acro pilots, generally as a standard rule of thumb, fly with at least 2 reserves.
So
I'll say on mine, I have a spot for 3. I can wear a front mount. I got one under my butt from the manufacturer and one on the side from the manufacturer. So I fly with 1, but I have a spot for 3 of them if I really wanted to go crazy.
So,
okay, I have a really good point to make. All jokes aside, Shane, you have a life insurance policy?
yes.
Yes, he does.
No.
We need to double it? Is that what you're saying?
No.
You need to make sure you get a specific rider for him flying. They do not cover you for flying.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me explain something to you. I have really good life insurance with my work. Hold on, Don. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you
I
real
don't
quick.
care. I'd rather have him than money. Okay.
I concur. So would my wife. I mean, not necessarily him,
she
but
says
I mean,
that.
probably
she says
me.
that
But
today, give it 6 more months. That might change.
Yeah.
She might want the
She'll be
money.
like, you don't need the helmet. Go on.
so
She's gonna be out in the garage filing his lines
All right.
so that way they
No,
just
I wouldn't do that.
All right. So all jokes aside, I'm being serious about this. This was brought up to me a couple months ago, and I've been very adamant about it on making sure that people understand that your regular life insurance policy does not cover, and unless you pay for a fair ticket price, which means an airplane ticket. If you decide to go jump out of an airplane, your life insurance policy does not cover you. If you decide to go paramotoring and crash and die, your life insurance policy that you've been paying on for however long does not cover you.
Nope.
But if you get a specific, like Kevin was saying, which is the AP, what is it, Kevin?
AOPA.
They have I paid
What does that stand for?
Airplane Owners and Pilots Association.
Oh, okay.
So, Don, check this out. For $200 a year, my wife gets $125,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, which would pay off our debts. Okay.
Right.
It's 200. I think I paid 230 for the year. I'm 40. I'm fixing to be 46 years
He's
old.
like super young, so
Right.
will that
And
matter?
no, he probably will pay less.
Were you hanging out at the high school again?
Well,
But-
see, I was at my friend's house actually, and he walked in. Yes, I'm older. It happened.
With my
Anyways.
son's friend.
Yeah.
No. Well,
Anyways,
he's
long story
23,
short. Okay.
so,
Well, what I'm trying to say is
yeah.
understand that his regular life insurance policy does not cover him. I
Yeah.
flew for 6 months, 7 months, and then I found this out. And my insurance policy for this extra life insurance policy that I got did not cover me until the end of the month. So I literally, Linda.
Oh, my phone's going dead. Sorry. Let me put it back on.
Go over
Gotta
and
plug it in.
join Shane.
Well, it's not plugged in. It's a Wi-Fi. I mean, it's a wireless, so I have to hold it there.
So anyways, make sure you get him covered, which will cover you of anything. And again, none of us want
Right. My dad died at 20, so I totally get. I was 20
Right.
years old. My dad died at 50, so stuff happens. So.
I died at
So
20,
also-
but they brought me back.
Oh wow.
Well,
Kevin, can you also explain to me some of this insurance as far as like medevac and all that stuff? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I know about that. I work for
So-
Dr. Collier. It's a lot better
So
to have.
The big one that most people overlook, and it's actually really affordable, is life flight insurance.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
You can
Yeah.
you can get life flight insurance for somewhere around like $100 to $200 for the year,
Yeah.
which it might be a quote waste of $200, but I can tell you from personal experience, because I shattered my femur and had to be life flighted. It was a $400,000 helicopter ride.
Mm-hmm.
And my insurance company paid for everything less a $15 copay. So it's really, really pays for itself the one and only ever time if you ever have to use it.
Is that the same as like the rescue insurance through Spot?
No, that's totally different. That's a Spot's own thing.
Okay, I know my instructor, Britton, he was in the Alps. I think he was just over the Matterhorn and had like a 2-day hike out, had a rock slide, got caught on a ledge, hit his button. Within 45 minutes, had a helicopter come down, get him. They actually went back and got his gear. He left his gear. A cross-country gear weighs 90 pounds, harness and everything.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
that would have been extremely expensive if he didn't have that insurance. And I think he said he had to buy additional insurance because he was out of state or out of
the country. Yeah.
hey, let's talk about flotation as well for a new pilot.
Yes.
I fly with reserve. I fly with flotation. I fly with extra insurance. So, Shane, you can read all those books all you want, but safety first, my friend. Safety first. Insurance, a reserve, and flotation.
What flotation do you suggest?
Double
PPG
D's.
PPG
What?
smoke.
I think I'm the only one that caught that.
I tried to continue the conversation in the right direction.
What do I have on my wing? I mean, on my motor. What is it?
It's
looks
a
like you're
frickin'
reaching into a
Rottweiler
dog
is what it
nose.
looks like.
Looks like you're shoving your hand up a dog nose right now.
I got my wife's phone and she's got no good like flying videos of me or pictures, so I got to use my buddy Jack. And
No, but it was asked in the chat like about reserves and how often you should get a repack on a reserve. The manufacturer recommends every 6 months. And if you look at videos, you'll see that a fresh repack reserve will open up much faster than a long stored reserve does. But the regular rule of thumb that I like to go by is if you don't have the ability with somebody around you or nearby to do repacks, you should probably send your reserve with your wing when you do your annual inspection, and then just pay. I think it's like $40. It's really not that big a deal. And you just pay $40. They drag the reserve out and then they repack it, and it's no problem.
Okay, so on reserves, real quick, do we need to do like on the wing? Do we need to get new, or can we get repacked wings? I mean, what's your suggestion on that?
As long as the reserve is still within its service window, because they do have age dates on them. As long as the reserve's within its service window and it's the right capacity for you, then it's not a problem.
Okay.
If you get a used one, again, it's one of those, it may be worthwhile to just spend $45, send it over to Cloud9 or to Shannon at Four Winds or somebody that knows, how to do the stop sending private messages. So, yeah. So you can once a year get it inspected, or if you buy a used one, you send it in, pay, just like with buying a used wing, you spend the $45, send it in, have them do a repack, and if there's anything wrong with it, then you'll know right away. And it's much better to have a $300 or $400 go to the mailbox than it is to think that you're safe and you spent good money and then throw that sumbitch out your head and have it turn out to be a ball of crap out there that's not going to actually help you.
All right, so
hey guys, I got to cut out early tonight, man. Shane, it was really nice to hear your story, man. And one other thing I would ask,
Hey, Brian, he got a bail.
You're talking about different apps that you would use to fly. One thing I do every time I fly is I release a helium balloon, and because a lot of times, what's going on the ground, the windsock won't be moving, and you let that balloon go up, it goes up 50 feet, looks good, goes up 100 feet, all of a sudden, boom, it starts moving one direction or another. You got something going on up there. But I'll watch a balloon go up 500 feet usually before I take off. And so anyway, just another little safety thing to do. There's a lot of different things you can do, but I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that to see your video soon and successfully in the air, brother.
Thank you. It was really nice meeting you.
Brian's got to run.
I got a bail. Peace.
He's got a bail.
Now, Shane, we also live. Yep, see you, buddy. We also live in the state of Arkansas, so I'd highly recommend a steerable reserve unless you just really want to end up in a tree. It'd be nice to be able to direct where you go.
So that's one of the things that I'll adamantly tell you that's not correct. When you come down on a reserve, you want to aim for the trees. You don't want to aim for a clear open field. If you have trees around you, you want to aim for the trees.
If you have a flareable reserve that's steerable, you want to be able to find that landing spot, flare, and you can tap. What do you mean no? Why are you saying no?
In paragliding, a steerable reserve is a good thing. In paramotoring, a steerable reserve is terrible and absolutely not suggested. If you're going to be on a reserve, your main number one focus is to disable your wing, not to be driving or flying your reserve.
This is why we have an instructor on the podcast.
If you have a steerable reserve, your mind frame is that you want to take control of things, which means you're going to negate controlling your wing and you're going to want to control the reserve. That's going to put you into a situation of downplaning, which will get you more hurt than if you didn't actually throw the reserve. What you want is a round reserve. You want to aim for the bushes because the reserve works like Velcro and will slow and arrest your descent.
How do you aim a non-steerable reserve?
Weight shift. You can steer a round reserve.
I pulled a round reserve and that didn't steer nothing.
You can pull lines. You can reach up and pull lines on one side, which collapses part of the reserve, which allows air to spill out one half. You can steer a round reserve.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
No,
hold on.
Why do you want the reserve? Why do you want the reserve to come down faster? I mean, if anything, you want it to come down slower, not pull a line.
No, it's not about speed. You're misunderstanding. When I'm pulling a line, I'm changing the shape. It's a circle. I'm changing the shape of the circle. By changing the shape, it's going to allow air to spill out. It's not that I'm going faster. Air spilling out one side. It works like a hot air balloon. It's the same way a hot air balloon turns. You allow the air to spill, it moves the reserve in a general direction. When I say steerable, it's a really gross understanding. It's not like you have the ability to say, well, I want to go left over there. If you want to aim for the trees versus the rocks, you can pull on one side and it will somewhat direct you into a direction. But it's not the definition of steerable. You don't really have control. You have a mild ability to go in a general direction.
Sean, quick question for you. When you went to the SIV, did you use your reserve or their reserve?
I used their reserve. It was a round reserve. And let me tell you, there was no steering that. Matter of fact, think about it. I understand what Kevin is saying. You know, you want to get your original line, your original glider in a stall ball. And a stall ball is when you start pulling in, you pull your brakes, and it's this big old ball that just floats. You want to bring that in. And while you're doing that, you're right. You don't want to try to go up and try to steer a reserve. I understand what Kevin's saying. However, once I get that stall ball in far enough and I'm able to hold on to it with my feet or put it between my knees or something, I want to reach up here and now steer this thing someplace where I can flare down and not hit hard.
So the one thing that I don't think that you're accounting is when you throw a reserve in an SIV, it's in a quote controlled environment. You're doing it on purpose, over water, with someone in your ear and a towboat to recover you. If you have to throw a reserve in a real life scenario, your sensory overload kicks in and you don't have the ability to work through all those steps. That's why we do SIV.
Somebody's making a lot of noise.
Having an instructor in your ear is paramount when you're doing something like that. That's why when we come out of SIV, we feel like superheroes, because we've done so much that we would never attempt on our own. And there's a reason why, is because we don't have someone with the encouragement and the wisdom to tell us that it's okay.
I think one of my fears without having a steerable reserve was mainly for one, trees, but if I can understand what you're saying, trees are softer than ground and reserves don't come down extremely slow, especially you add motor weight to it. But my fear is coming down under reserve and there's water underneath me and I can steer away from water. You know, that scares me to death, to have lines going everywhere and not being able to get away from water.
Well, if you're on a reserve and you have time, you can start to unbuckle yourself and get yourself prepared to escape the paramotor. That's the one nice thing about a round reserve. If you have altitude, is you're still sitting in your seat. You can get everything undone except for your leg straps. And then when you hit the water, you just swim out. You don't try to unbuckle them. You just swim out of the leg straps. And when you swim out, you go up and above the paramotor, which generally pushes you away from the wing. It helps to keep you from getting tangled. Sean and I were actually talking about this the other day, just the two of us. We were talking about having a water safety course where you could actually do like an SIV, but where you intentionally enter the water and then know what it feels like to come out of the harness, whether you can get unclipped or, you know, you can't ever establish a real world scenario, but with one or two divers in a pool, you could actually get like an understanding of how easy or difficult it may be, which can help mentally prepare you for something like that. So I've personally never gone into water. I don't want to. And everything I've ever been told is water is the devil. But I have known people that have gone into water that have come out of it just fine. It was just an expensive day.
So here's my thing. I watched a video. I don't remember what it's called now, but there was a guy that actually did this. He took his motor off his frame and he put a concrete block on the back of his frame.
Senior Tom Kubat.
He just jumped in
the pool. Yeah.
Was that Tom Kubat?
That's Tom Kubat's videos. He did a series of those, and they were a good series. It shows you a real understanding of why the frame, or not the frame, but the harness that's on the Dominator or Dominator, the flat top and the Angel, the reason why it's such a good idea to be able to have a single point release, because if you go into the water, one single point, you're done. You're out of the harness. There's nothing keeping you there anymore. With a standard harness like a Dudek or an APCO or whatever, you've got one for each leg, one across your waist, and then one at your chest. That's a lot to get undone when you're upside down and didn't get a good breath to start with.
And it's interesting that you said that too, because I turtled on one. When I went back, I just pulled that quick release and I got back up. I can't imagine trying to unbuckle 3 or 4 different things in the water, you know. So interesting topics. I'm really glad that we talked about this stuff. It is 8:49. We are still in the after show, or the after party. I know, right? It's like we just kind of blended from the show. Hey, there's Shane
I know.
and his
Now
wife.
we're in the after party, like my dogs are like crashed. And I totally apologize for their, I don't know.
Oh, it's
I know.
I
dogs
don't have
will be
anybody here
dogs.
that can just like stash the dogs somewhere, you know what I'm saying? And I can't put them outside because it's like 115 out there.
Did I freeze?
So,
Who freeze?
I throw all their stuff out there and they still, you know.
Dogs will be dogs.
We
No
need
big
you,
deal.
Mom.
Dogs
Oh,
will
a
be
couple
dogs.
more quick questions.
Y'all
I
never
got it.
stop.
Yeah, I could talk about this
Sorry.
all night. A couple more quick questions though. Do y'all recommend, Sean? I mean, do you recommend before a first flight maybe getting an SIV course in, or what's your opinions on SIV courses? How much do they cost? Where can you go to get some SIV training?
So standard SIVs are generally like $500 a day or about $800 for a weekend. I think it's best for students to go take an SIV almost immediately following finishing training. It will solidify your faith in the wing. There's a lot of people that get up there and they start talking about bump tolerance and not being comfortable and having wonky air. After you've gone through an SIV and you've literally made half of the wing disappear and you realize that it still works, it still holds you up in the sky. And you're going down, but you're not falling. And then when you let go of the line that you intentionally pulled, it makes this big, loud shotgun boom sound because everything slams back open and goes back to working. And you can do it on the left and you can do it on the right, and you can grab both of them and pull the whole front of it down, and everything goes boom, boom, and it all just wants to work. I mean, that's the biggest takeaway, is that, we come to find that the wing really does want to work. We have a misconception that collapses are bad. They're only bad if they're mistreated. If your wing collapses, it's just telling you something. It's telling you that you're either not holding enough pressure, or that the air is the type of air you don't want to be in, whether that means you're in rotor behind trees or behind a mountain, you're on the lee side of a hill. It's what we call feedback. The glider is telling you that something is going on that is putting you in a position where you're not doing something right, or you're in a position that you shouldn't be in as far as location. And the easy way to solve most of it is to climb. We get out more altitude. More altitude gives you more time to sort things out. And the higher up you go, gives you the ability for your reserve to work. It gives you time to be able to look up at things and scan and figure out what's going on and what doesn't feel right. If you're low to the ground, you don't have much time to do any fixing.
And I truly believe, after doing the SIV course and henceforth doing all sorts of different acro, I suppose you could call it.
Maneuvers.
Maneuvers. There you go.
Maneuvers.
Maneuvers. Thank you very much, Kevin. I appreciate that. Yes, maneuvers. Doing maneuvers after the SIV course, I can tell that the pre-SIV, I was complete newbie. I mean, 6 months. I mean, I barely touched the trims. I went to the SIV course, and it felt like I learned another 6 months worth of stuff in 2 days. I think that you would be very wise to go through training and then do a lot of climbing, looking around, because that's what's beautiful, coming down and doing nice landing, setting back up, go and taking off again, and doing that for many hours before you even think about doing SIV course. Because even with all the time that I've had, 6 months worth of flying, it scared the crap out of me when I went beyond my comfort zone doing a spiral or trying to pull a collapse. And now that I've gone through so much more over the last 10 months, this next SIV course in 2 weeks, Shane, is that right? Shane, Skinny Shane, 2 weeks, we're going to be going to a
I was muted. Sorry. August 22nd, August 23rd.
Yeah, so I'm going to just be doing the 1 day on August 22nd. Shane's going to be there for 2 days.
And 23rd, he just doesn't know it yet.
No, can't afford that. Can't afford that with my new wing. Can't afford that with my new wing.
My buddy just tore his wing on takeoff.
You can have
so
that.
no, he's not going now. So I told Fuller I was bringing 2 guys plus myself. Now I'm bringing myself plus PPG Grandpa in 1 day. I'm not really. I feel like a fool.
Shane, what are you doing in a couple of weeks? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going. Yeah, Shane. So me and Sean have went to school and finished school and started flying at the same time, just different schools. Yeah, I'm not much of an acro guy or even wing overs. I love to fly low, which is probably the most dumbest thing you can do, because if you have any issues, you have no time to recover.
Right.
I've almost got ran over by a deer one day. That's how low I was. That's a true story.
You know, if I got ran over by a deer, it'd be Grandpa got run over by a reindeer.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Hey,
I gotta take
hey,
a quick
Grandpa.
minute. Hold on, I gotta take a quick minute. And I gotta point out that your Dankies offered us a $20 in the super chat. Thank you very much, your Dankies,
Oh
for that.
my
Appreciate
goodness,
it.
thank
Oh,
you.
sweet.
That was nice.
Yes, it wasn't Linda.
It's been rough goings on the show tonight for me. Jeez.
Nah, Shane, in the eye of safety, you've got 2 places that are safe: below 10 feet and above 1,000. If you're below 10 feet, a fall from 10 feet or less, you could probably survive. You might be banged up, but it's something you could live through.
Right.
If you're above 1,000 feet, your reserve will work, or you have time to pump out a collapse.
So
In that middle area is what we call the red zone, and you basically want to be transitioning up or transitioning down through that area, and that's what will keep you safe.
okay. Sorry to jump back and forth. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Shane.
No worries. Keep going, bud.
All right. So sorry to jump back and forth here, but would you suggest that a newbie who's not ever been in the air before, would you suggest them getting, a cheaper paramotor that's well built, maybe a little bit heavier, and can withstand a couple, butt landings or a couple drags? I mean, would you recommend that, or would you recommend, going out and getting something that you really want at the very beginning? And how do y'all view that?
Same answer I gave you the other day when you asked in the private chat about used motors. As long as the company you're ordering or buying from still supports the motor and still supports the frame, then it's not that big a deal, because you can always get replacement hoop parts, you can always get replacement frame parts, you can always get another prop. That's generally the going to be the worst of it. A butt landing doesn't normally tear up your motor bad enough where you need to buy parts and need to replace things. If you land with your motor on and have a butt landing, you might be replacing a cage piece and a prop. That's why as beginners, we always turn the motor off at 100 feet, establish glide, flare, and land. If you butt land, the prop's not under power, which means it might just bang and you'll have a little bit of a tip repair, which is not that big of a deal.
Or get a new paramotor, right?
Or you can fly my Angel and not worry about it, because if you break it, Andrew Fuller, SkyTap Angel Paramotor, they send you free pieces out.
Or
I agree with that. I agree with that.
or you go to Four Winds PPG and not worry about butt landing or hitting a cage and land properly every time. Over 200, and I'm not bragging, this is actual true stuff. I've got over 200 takeoff and landings. I think 3 times I've landed on one knee, whether slip and fall in the wet grass early morning, or come in slightly downwind. Like I said, the wind direction is a little funny where I'm from. But I haven't damaged any equipment. I haven't broke anything, and I think I've done very well. And
he did rear end an RV.
Yes.
I did not. The RV was cold. I put the little bit of my wing over the corner of the camper. It was all
Dude,
good.
I heard they had to total that RV out after you.
Oh, here we go.
It was in bad shape, man.
The people inside got whiplash.
I had 200 takeoffs and landings. They were all a success, and they were wiped out in one fail swoop of emotion. Rear-ended an RV.
I will tell you, I've had over 32, or actually 31 launches at class before I had to reset up. I had to abort a launch and reset up. After that, I've had less than 5. I've had less than 5 and over 200 flights that I have had failed launches. I don't think that's too bad.
No, that's not bad at all. So let's go back to the actual motors on a paramotor. What do y'all suggest newbie pilots? Do you suggest starting on something that's a little bit smaller and slower, or do you suggest getting, the motor that's going to get you where you want to go further down the line? I mean, what do y'all think about that?
For the amount of the investment that this hobby is, it's best to buy once and cry once than it is to buy twice and cry twice.
Thank you.
So in my opinion, it's best to stick with the mainstream main brand like Vitarazi or HE or Black Bull, something that's a known common. I can get parts for it. There's service for it. There's customer support for it. There's even a warranty if you buy one brand new. So that will save you in the long run versus spending a lot of nickels and dimes, which will equate to 12,000 instead of 6 if you would have just done it what we call the right way the first time.
Gotcha.
And Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're also talking about speed and stuff. You're only affecting your climb rate with how big
Power.
the motor is.
Right.
Yeah, you're not going to go faster with a 185. You're just going to climb faster with a 185. So
Right.
if you're taking off in a field that doesn't have as much room, you've got that power before that, barbed wire fence. Whereas an Atom 80, you're like, this is coming in close. Your climb rate's what's going to change.
Well, I've been recently flying a top 80, and I can tell you it has the climb rate of free flight at best. Like it's enough to get me off the ground and fly me around, but I have to consciously think about tree lines and power lines because I do not have the power to emergency get away from stuff. When I'm flying my Moster, if I want to go up 200 feet, it's 3 seconds of a wide open squeeze and I'm up above trees or power lines or anything I want. So I think in the eye of safety, it's better for you to have a larger motor than a smaller one because you have what I call oh shit power.
Yeah, I agree there.
Sorry about this.
Well, thank you for that, because it feels like kind of he's buying something just to buy something else, and this is the stuff that really needs to. It's hard for him to know, or us to know what.
I brought it up the other day in a motorcycle term. I bought a 250 Ninja, and that was my first bike. And in 6 months, I was pissed off I bought it because now I got to buy a 600. So
yeah,
I would definitely recommend getting what you want off the bat if it costs a little more. But
yeah,
Just do yourself a favor, Tommy, and get a leader bike and just get it over with.
I did. I was. That's what I told him. I said, you know, once I got the 600, I maxed it out, and then went and got a Z1000 that I pretty much made a supermoto. That's my thing now.
There you go.
I just like to say to the guest, Shane, Dawn, I think she loves you. She kind of she's sticking up for you and making sure you're going in the right direction. You're lucky.
Yeah, we do everything together. We
You're
do
a
this
lucky
thing
man.
where we do this thing where we call nerding out, where we do so much research before we pretty much do anything.
Yeah.
So
That's the best way to do anything, in my opinion.
Correct. Yes.
No, like I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be a brand new paramotor, and it doesn't have to be a brand new wing. What it does need to be is worth the money you spend on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, I myself.
My wife cannot be playing Netflix because I'm not getting a good video.
So for me, when I went to school,
Don't bandwidth.
I got all new equipment, only because I'm not mechanically inclined, and I'd hope to have as much time as I could before I had to start working on the motor, which is almost instantly. I think 16 hours. I had a kill switch that quit working.
you got me.
And yeah.
Sorry, I love motors. Sorry.
got my personal mechanic wife right here that will take care of me, I promise.
I'm not a female. I like my sweet tea and I like motors. So
Have you tried a Seagram sweet tea vodka? Just asking for a friend.
for a friend. Hold on.
Have you tried Seagram sweet tea vodka? It's really good. You mix it.
I think Mama Kay had that. I'm just a sweet tea kind of gal. I don't like anything but sugar in my sweet tea. And I don't even get dark. It looks like whiskey, probably.
Do you make your sweet tea with simple syrup, or do you make your sweet tea with sugar and water?
Sugar and water. I'm allergic to most every artificial sugar there is. So.
Well, you're doing it wrong. You gotta put the sugar in the water first, then boil it.
Do you hear her voice?
Then add your tea bags. Your sweet tea will be much better. You will.
No, I actually put it on the stove. I put the water. I have a water filter on my water, and then I put the tea bags in the water, and I bring it right to a boil, and then I don't let it boil because then it makes it bitter. So
do you hear her voice, Kevin? She's from Arkansas, man. She knows how to make some sweet tea.
I do. I hate it when I have meetings like up north.
About sweet tea, that's not far enough south. I
live in the south. Hold on.
Where we make real sweet tea out of simple syrup.
No.
Okay, I'm from Florida. It don't get much south. It doesn't get much more south than that. So. Do you use
Florida is the epitome of every Florida man joke. Don't try to tell me Florida is south. We know better than that.
Hold on now. So
you're just part of Cuba. Knock it off. Go have a Cuban.
I don't like papayas.
Lipton sweet tea. Yes, that's
so 12 tea bags per gallon?
No, 2.
2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're the big bags though.
Yeah. Not the the little bitty tea bags would be. I think it was 6, but I don't hardly ever get those anymore. Yeah. Sweet tea is like I've been addicted to it for 18 years. So that's telling my age. Whoops.
She's 18 years old, guys. She let us
know. No. No, my son's 18. I don't want to be 18 again. No. Anyway, yes, he's younger than me. It'll be fine.
24. We'll go back to 24. 24 was fun.
Ooh.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I've got an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old, and
18-year-old, or actually, I was 19 when I met my wife.
In November. So
I was 19 and my wife was 18 when we met, and now we're 45 and almost 46.
Yeah, I'm not telling
Good Lord.
Now look at you like, I ain't saying nothing.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm just
nothing.
Mine are 11, 7, 3, and 1 on the way. All
good.
Jesus.
That's
Congratulations, but
Kevin has slow swimmers. Kevin has slow swimmers.
But we met after I already raised the kids pretty much. So,
That's the best kind.
well, yeah, I had boys, so thank
That's
God.
even the better kind.
Mhm.
that's right.
Yeah, I've been their soccer coach. Yeah, it's been awesome.
That's right. I've been my daughter's cheerleading coach.
I
So
said soccer. I meant basketball. Sorry.
You know the
But I
nice
did
thing
tell you
about
that
having
I'm
the
starting
nice
to
thing
play.
about daughters though is when I beat up their boyfriends and send them out, I don't have to then still see them. They're not gonna be in my house. My daughter will still be in my house, so that's all
Well,
right. I'll just
I'm
knock
gonna
knock
tell
them
you
around and send
something.
them over.
Now, the biggest breakup of my life was when my 18-year-old, well, he was 17 when they met, but when he moved out, girls change everything. She totally took my son away. But she's coming over here in a minute. He called me like 5 times, so I was worried, but he's coming over to make Philly for us. So
Oh,
So
good.
is he going to start
good.
flying?
He's got to do his
That's
laundry.
probably not.
I'm trying to get everybody flying.
Alex probably will. Alex probably will, but I don't.
Probably
JP.
watching this video already, so they already know what's going on in the house before they get here.
Guys, you're so cute together.
They are adorable. I love it.
If I like
Aw,
freaking drink all that
thanks.
tea, if I drink all that tea all day like that or whatever, I wouldn't sleep. Okay,
Oh,
I'll drink coffee like
Drink
crazy,
it.
but tea, I would be awake like for 75 days.
well, if I didn't drink it all the time, it'd probably be like that. And I don't drink it strong at all. I mean, you can literally see through it.
See, what we're really trying
Yeah.
to do is get a sponsorship from Lipton.
Oh, he's always thinking.
So shout out to Lipton Tea Company.
That's it.
I don't know how many tea bags it equals the little ones to
I
the
know.
2 big ones that you guys use, but we use 12 per gallon of the little ones.
Oh, yeah, that'd
And
be
two-
So you got to get the big family
And-
ones. So
and
much
then
better.
and then it's 2.5 cups of sugar per gallon.
What? No, I use a cup and a little bit. A cup and
Oh,
cup and a fourth. Well,
Yeah, a couple of
I've
stores.
gained weight. It's sucky. I used to be so much smaller in my 20s, and then
so didn't we all?
and I'm.
What you mean you didn't have
We
dad
are-
bod in your
Sugar.
20s?
Oh,
I
Come
know
on,
my
man.
husband's in his 20s.
Don, you're
I
so
can't
old,
continue.
Don. Look at you, Don. You're so old. Oh my God.
No, I'm in my 30s. I'm almost in my 40s.
Oh,
You're in your
whoa,
30s.
whoa,
Oh, whoa.
Well, it's weird. If
Hold
I
the
continue
AARP.
the rate of increase of my gaining of weight, I was like, I'll have to. And then I found out sugar really doesn't make you gain weight. It's just empty calories. That makes me mad.
Sugar makes you gain weight.
No, actually, I'm a nerd. I'll nerd out on that with you here in a little while.
Okay, we'll talk about the insulin spike. Okay,
No. Nope, you're wrong on there too.
Oh,
man.
no, ma'am.
Oh man.
I was about to say you need to see Sean's YouTube channel. Trust me, he's went through all that.
Has he? Well, plant-based diet. You have to look into that. That's what my son's coming over to cook, actually. A plant-based vegan diet, by the way, honey. So that's what we're gonna have tonight. So,
I think they call
Yes.
that rabbit food.
yeah. Well, we tried it for a little bit, but I
How
gotta have
dare
my
you steal all the food from the things that my food eats? That's so mean.
Oh no. We didn't we
That
lasted
steak I had
what, a
tonight.
week?
That's,
Yeah, I tried the vegan diet
He got
and
sick.
I got so
He got sick, and
So
I
you
was like sneaking chicken behind his back, and
You were like, once you got sick, you were like a salad shooter when you got the diarrhea.
Hey, did you
Like,
know?
it's time-
Did
it's
you know
time
that?
to really be-
Did you know that diarrhea is
Leave it
hereditary?
open.
It runs in your genes.
oh, that's hilarious.
Oh,
Oh dang it! My
Got 'em.
stepdad gave me a joke, and I'm the worst joke teller. It was about Viagra. Dang it! They made a Viagra spray.
Linda, your dog's heard Viagra got cray cray.
Yeah.
I took a Viagra. It got stuck in my throat. I've had a stiff neck ever since.
Oh yeah.
It's not my dog. It's not my dog.
Yeah, that was our dog. Sorry about that.
Oh, we owe Linda an apology. Sorry, Linda.
Sorry,
That's
Linda.
Sorry,
That's the alarm.
Linda.
That's the alarm letting them know that the rabbit food chef has arrived.
Oh my God. Look at that backdrop.
Anybody who has a dog knows the minute a car pulls in the driveway, they're gonna start barking and going nuts. You don't even get to the door.
You guys, this is a fun show tonight. Except for my dogs being obnoxious.
This is great having a newbie on. I know when I was a newbie, I had so many questions, and it's nice having.
I can't
having
believe
you
that
on
there's
for
people
sure.
actually watching this show. Is there anybody who wants to come in and chat?
Yeah, it's
I
what?
already asked
Other
him
people on there now?
earlier. I asked Shondor if he wants to come in, gave him the Zoom room. and
Shondor,
password.
get your butt in here, dude. Come on.
We,
know,
Yeah,
right?
come
we
on.
actually
Sandor.
we actually have more viewers now than we did when we were doing the actual show.
So if we
Yeah,
stay on
what's
for
that all
5 hours, we might actually double our viewership again.
Okay, so I do all jokes aside, I want to say to Shane, Dawn is super supportive, and I think that's awesome. My wife has also been very, very supportive. She's only made me made me swear to her that I would never do acro. And I also at the beginning of the show told you that I never lied to my wife up until I started flying. So with that said,
You're not doing acro. Remember, you're doing
Hey, just
maneuver.
remember, this
Maneuvers.
is live.
she don't watch this, so I'm good.
Just remember,
About-
it's maneuvers, not acro.
About every 18 minutes she comes in and gets another beer, so I just gotta say maneuvers whenever she comes in. That's what the SIV course is all about: being safe, learning how to fly, and make better maneuvers, safer. And
Maneuvers. Oh, okay, I get it.
she's gonna think go ahead, Don.
Oh, sorry. No.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
No, well, I need everybody's phone number because obviously I'll need to buy stuff.
No, it's kidding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whenever it's time for like his birthday and stuff, I already messed up on Father's Day and bought him a stunt kite. And I didn't realize that he was wanting a 70-foot long kite or meter or whatever it is. But so yeah, I definitely, so I can actually that's been the hardest thing for me to look into this sport. I wish there was some kind of checklist that was like, okay, wives, if you want to make your husband happy and this is what he needs, then blah, 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 blah. There's nothing like that. You can watch 1,400 things, and by the time you don't know what is good, what's not, which now I have people I could call, but, I don't want to wear out my welcome.
In all fairness, my wife tells me the only cheating I do on her is this right here in the background, this flying stuff.
Yeah.
It's the only mistress I have.
I like her. What's your wife? Tell her I said hi. My name's Dawn. We might need to be friends.
There you go. Yeah,
So we have to have a Paramotor wives support group.
Yeah, we probably do. That's the truth. The kids. I mean, he took my kid to Oklahoma, and he just said on here, yeah, I called and I went to Oklahoma. It took him 4 days to finally tell me it was a miscommunication. He didn't know he was going to Oklahoma with my son across the state line. If his dad found out, and I just found out today, like he knew he was going to Oklahoma. He finally said it. So
it's not kidnapping if you intend to return the person. Okay?
Well, I know that, but when you have a divorce decree and people that the man, well, actually his wife, it's not even him. Yeah. Was not.
That's always the fun. That's always the fun one when somebody else has to have an opinion in the matter.
Well, it's not him, but anyway, yeah.
My problem with my wife and doing the paramotoring thing is she's like, you can tie a brake line that won't come undone, but me in the bedroom, here I am, hands free.
You make me turn red. I've watched his video.
Talking about a checklist. You women can make some checklists too, okay?
Yeah.
I don't, thank you. Sweet tea, which you don't make anymore because he's got a girlfriend, paramotor.
You know the thing though, the thing that's funny, and I'll give it this: when you go fly paramotors, it's not as glorious as you think because there aren't really any women involved. It's just a bunch of hairy-faced dudes that you go meet up with. There's no unicorns out there, and if they're out there, they're in like Florida or something. So
hello.
It's really, really satisfactory to know that when you go out with a group of guys, even if it is in Oklahoma, it's still at least a group of guys, unless Shane's got something we don't know about.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about that. It was just the fact that he took my son over state lines, knowing the crap that I didn't meet her at 6 o'clock like she told me to, mind you, my kid, not hers. And she was going to do a report on me. That's how ridiculous they are. But,
I know about that one.
But the lion thing, I can totally see it. I can so see it. There's been steady lies on this sport.
And then right behind that comes the allegations that you feed your kids drugs, and when that one doesn't work, then you started to beat them, and then when that one doesn't work, then it's that you started touching them inappropriately. It escalates.
No, they said my oldest son did. Yeah,
you're at the lower phases. You haven't got to the crazy phases yet.
Oh no, we've already done that. It was that was like 5 years ago, a year and a half long. They tried to say my older son had touched him. I mean, they threw everything. It was horrible. But now Alex is 15 and he hasn't been over in a long while. So
any amount of emotional discord we can create, we will throw it out there. Don't you worry.
Hey Don,
yeah.
If you get Shane a 70-meter wing, he will definitely go over across state lines, and you probably won't see him again.
Well, I didn't mean to say 70 meter. I just don't know how all that works. It looks 70 foot long, but I know everything's done in meters. So
you will not see him again.
26, he said.
He brings it up to the sod farm. We're going to think he's compensating for something. They're like, why do you have such a big wing, dude?
I fly a 70 meter. Look how long my wing is.
Dude, Brian's in the chat. He says, I thought this was a great sport to meet chicks. The problem is Brian's meeting them in the hospital. They're called nurses.
Exactly. That is true.
Waller, good night.
Some of the nurses were men, so he didn't exactly meet chicks as planned.
No, things got a little stiff there.
Oh boy,
he was drugged up. He probably didn't know the difference.
Where's he at?
He left.
Oh, did he?
He had to bounce. He's still in the chat.
He's in the hot tub. In the chat, in the hot tub.
No, that's not fair.
Well, you could.
I want to go to the ocean.
Florida got a bunch of it.
I know.
About to say, if your man's about to buy a paramotor, that's another thing. Any of the trips you wanted to take, before I got my paramotor, it was just like, I don't care to go here. I don't care. Now it's opportunities to fly in different places. I want to go everywhere.
Okay, so long story short, we bought a camper almost little under 5 years ago, and we camp at least once a month. I say that funnily because we go like every other weekend, and it literally all my camping trips revolve around where I can and can't fly. If I can't fly at one campground, I will not go back there. I won't do it.
I do want a camper. Glamping.
Well, that's way less than a paramotor, just so you know.
I mean, I do know. I know. I'm not that expensive, so I don't even know. I can't even get anything in comparison. So it's sucky.
I just want you to know that when you do start doing things like camping and it all revolves around paramotor, everything, family trips. In January, we're going to Tennessee, and we got an Airbnb. I picked the Airbnb that had a field in the backyard.
Yeah. Well, that's already happened. He took a week vacation. He slept almost all of it until it was time to go to class on that Friday, I think. And then, no, he went to Oklahoma. I don't remember. And then Saturday and Sunday, it was all, which I had fun because that's when I had fun on Saturday because I went with him to the sod farm. And then it was kiting again Sunday, and then he went back to work Monday. So, yeah. Oops. And then he had Thursday off last week. And if he can kite, then he's awake. But if he can't kite, then he's asleep.
That's because he's tired from kiting. It makes sense.
Well, no, he works
nights. Him to Florida to check out the SIV with us, Shane. But he said, with Shane? No, I don't want to do Shane.
He has to work. You could try to even trade things, trade days or something.
I tried to shift trains, but.
Well, I mean, I'd be pushing for that because if the beach is anywhere, I want to go. Like I'll drive.
Shane, you better change the shift because if not, Dawn's coming with us.
Yeah, ha ha. I don't ever get to go anywhere. I just want to go to the beach.
Let's see if I get a paramotor before then. I wonder how long that'll take me to fly down there. A little cross country.
No, you're not. You can't even do it yet because Mr. Britton won't let you, and I won't. Because as long as he says you can't go, then I will throw a fit. I will be non-supportive.
I have news for you, Shane. It's gonna be hard to run with that paramotor on your back and Dawn hanging on your neck.
I ain't going up.
You ain't going.
I ain't going. He ain't sending me nowhere. Nope. I fall too much. This is my first summer without cast on my wrist. I just had surgery on both my wrists in January. All I was doing was shopping in Sam's Club, and they had a forklift on the water. You know how they have water like in the aisleway? You can walk all the way around it. Well, I was walking up to the back side, and they had a forklift on the other side, and I didn't know it. And I grabbed 2 cases of water, and they bumped me, and I fell into the cart with both cases of water and had to have surgery on. They both my wrists were broke, so I had to have surgery.
They ran you over with a forklift? How much money did you get out of that deal?
None. I had to have an attorney. None.
JP.
So I'm in a court. I have to go trial date October, or trial date is the end of the year.
Dude, my neck and my back would be hurting after something like that.
It hurts so bad. I'm not kidding. I've had so many surgeries, and they took within 14 days or 13 days, I had 2 surgeries. 13. They did this one, and then was 7 days later or 3 days, they took the stitches out. 3 days later, I had this one. So they took the cast off, and then it was horrible. But yeah,
millions of people are watching this, and you are letting everyone know all of your private stuff.
Oh, I don't care.
Oh, okay. Then
I'm open anyway. My name's on Daylight. So
hold on. JP, what's your dog's name?
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
Now, hold on. Now, while you're saying that, can you say it puts the lotion on its skin or gets the hose again?
You know, the funny thing is that the dog is licking his lips and face, and I guarantee you 5 minutes ago it was just licking its own butt.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why it tastes so good.
Maltese. I would show you Cooper, but he's cockeyed. He's 13. He's cockeyed. His eye popped out. Don't let the dog get hit in the head. Their eye will pop out and run to you. It's terrible. And then $1,000 later, you'll have the eye back in, and it's like pointing that way. He's sniffing. Come here, Cooper. We'll show you, old man. He needs to
I don't know if this we've seen an ankle go sideways. We're not sure if we can handle this though.
This show has gone all
He's like, I can't see. Oh,
look at your cousin, Peter.
He's got to go to the groomer. Oh, don't do that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she just came back from the groomer.
I dropped you, and here goes your.
No, I didn't drop him. No,
She squeezed him too hard. The eyes popped.
Come here.
It was a gentle punt. It's okay.
Oh. And then here's Murphy.
Wow.
Baxter.
That's Murphy. He hates cameras.
Murphy, what's up, dog? What up, dog?
Anyway, that's what you.
What up, dog?
Shane is like, I'm supposed to be learning about PPG, and here I am looking at dogs.
Babe, I didn't mean this way. Now I can't get him down. Oh, don't do it. No, never mind. You'll hurt him that way. I got him.
Uh-oh. So Shane, when do you plan on flying?
Yes.
As soon as possible.
Okay, so you're going to school, you're doing school. What are we doing?
I'm getting.
Where do you live?
He's going to see Mr. Britton whenever he's.
That was too many questions, you guys. One question at a time. Brain just went into overload.
He lives close to me. He's training at the same trainer that me and Tommy and Kyle O had gone to. Okay. And he wants to fly as soon as he can.
Kyle O didn't get taught. Kyle O was always a god, wasn't he? I thought he came out of the womb flying.
No, that's Dell.
He didn't come out of the womb. Dell was gifted by God. Kyle O was hatched from a.
Okay, hatched.
Okay, no, I asked. I'm asking this question.
Kyle's part of the Grunion run.
So as soon as I got done with school, we had a fly-in up at Swanee, up in North Florida, and I literally left. Went home, dropped all my gear off so I wouldn't fall for the pressure of going to a fly-in and feeling like I had to fly, which was probably the smartest thing I ever did, leaving all my gear at home. Because yeah, as Kevin was saying earlier about me doing the poker run, that was my actual first thing, and I kind of had to abort takeoff during the poker run because I was running towards the camper, and I was not gonna make the over the camper. Let's just say.
Wait. Hang on. We're
Oh my gosh,
thing go.
he's
You
gonna
got it?
spool
Speaking of
up.
Dell.
He's gonna spool it up.
Speaking of Dell, can I share this real quick?
Oh,
Yeah.
Please do. Please. I don't know what it is, but you seem way too excited.
It's 18 figure eights in a row. It's a world record. No one else could ever do a foot drop.
Who was your most influential
Oh, here it is.
trainer?
Yes.
Most
God.
influential.
God.
Yeah, who was the person that influenced you the most?
God.
There's got to be one person that stands
People
out.
want to hear if that's all right. Names, obviously your instructor, if he's still instructing, and maybe a name. That'd be great.
God.
So you trained at Point of the Mountain. Was Chris around?
I trained
Yeah.
with God.
San
So-
Croce?
The skills that I have came from God. They are a gift from God. You do not learn what I know from the instructors that I trained with. Even though they're some of the best pilots in the world, you simply do not learn what I have. It was just a gift. It just doesn't happen that way. You can't go and train where I trained and end up like me. It doesn't happen.
Dude, this is the greatest. Oh, and by the way, Shane, that's Linda Anderson. She's one of the co-hosts on here. That's her son. Not talking about God. The guy that looks like he's just witnessed something crazy.
Hey, for clarity, her son does talk about God.
Yes, he's a preacher, but that's a whole different thing.
Goodness.
Dude, that is the greatest ever.
If you go train where I trained, you could never have the skills I have because I got them from God.
Hey, without interjecting my opinion, we were talking about this in a phone call. What do you buy first as a newbie, a motor or a wing?
A wing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. You can't fly a motor. You can't practice with the motor.
You're going to have a hard time getting off the ground if you don't know how to do it.
That's what she said.
But what?
What? What happened?
Just keep beating on it. It'll fit.
Did you hear what Kevin said? What?
Who Shane?
What? Wait, what?
Shane, there he goes.
Shane, what
Did you
other
hear that,
questions
Shane?
you got?
Yeah, Shane.
Did you hear what I just brought up, buddy?
Whether you should buy a wing first or a paramotor.
Yeah, I bought my wing and had it for a year before I could afford my paramotor, and it just worked out really well. I didn't want to kite for that long, but by the time I got my motor, it was like, okay, this is
So
going to be
curious,
easier.
Tommy, did you buy a free flight wing because you didn't know better, or did you buy a free flight wing because you were going to free fly and then decided to motor?
In all honesty, and being completely humble about it, had 2 flights, and my first 2 flights of the day were super smooth, laminar, full cloud cover, excellent ridge soaring. My 3rd flight of the day, the clouds were breaking up. It was about 2:30, and I got scared to death. Didn't have a bump tolerance. Just extremely thermic LZ, and I realized if I need to get hours, the way to do it's not to drive 3.5 hours every weekend and maybe get a chance. The way to do it's to get a motor. I didn't realize how much I'd love motor flight. I didn't realize how much I'd love XC. So I still want to do plenty of mountain flight. Still got plenty of plans to do mountain flight. Just I'm gonna have to buy another wing.
Yeah, I genuinely believe that if you were, and when I say you, I mean the proverbial you, not you individually, Tommy, but I think if any and every paramotor pilot went through the full P2 course, then did the paramotor training, they would be exponentially better of a pilot as a student coming out of training than they would if they only did motor flying, for the exact reason you talked about. When you do the P2 course, part of your P2 is having to get signed off for thermal flying. That forces you and teaches you to learn and understand that bump tolerance and everything. And this is one of those things, Shane, that you'll learn as you go through training. Everything's about feel. You feel the pressure in the wing. You feel everything. You can do all the kiting blindfolded if you know what you're feeling for. And when you do the free flying, you learn how to feel a lot more feedback in the wing. And then when you transition to a motor, that feedback, you kind of have a better understanding of what's going on and how to manipulate your hands to keep the pendulum right where you want it to be.
Especially if you got a buzz. You know, my wing, the one thing I don't like about it is how slow it is. The thing I love about it is you have to actively pilot that wing. It's not as loaded on the nose. You feel every bump. You feel every little thing on it. So, you know, whenever I do get a reflex wing, I'll be flying that. I'm sure it'll feel smoother, but I'll know exactly how to react to it.
I just think at the end of the day, there's no substitute for experience. So the more you do anything, whether it's kiting, flying, takeoffs or landings, and that always brings up the argument of which one's more important, hours flying or takeoffs and landings. Because if you did 10-minute flights in a day, or if you did 1 hour-and-a-half flight, you essentially did basically the same amount of flying. The biggest difference is 10 takeoffs and landings is 10 takeoffs and landings worth of skill. 1 takeoff and 1 landing with an hour of flying is skills in actual flying. And the flying is the easy part. The transitions, takeoff and landing, are the quote hard part. So if you get 10 takeoffs and landings in a day, you're going to be building proficiency 10 times faster than someone who only does 1 flight that's a longer flight in a day.
Right. So my next question is, what are some wings that you absolutely want to stay away from paramotoring? Like something you just don't want at all?
There really isn't anything new that fits into that category. Pretty much everything that's 2013, 2015 or newer is essentially going to be good gear to fly as long as it's in good condition. The sport has taken leaps and bounds in the last 5 years in technology. The biggest thing, and this is my opinion, is the weight of the wing, the actual weight of the fabric. So Sean and I have the exact same wing. The only difference is Sean's wing is a Roadster, which is the full weight wing. I have the Spider, which is the lightweight wing.
No, the difference is mine has a hole in it and yours doesn't.
Well, I patched my hole.
I was going to say, the wings you want to stay away from are the ones that PPG Grandpa is flying, because they're
holy.
They're holy.
They're exhausted.
They're exhausted. They're tired.
No, I mean, the biggest thing though, as a beginner, is you want to stay away from anything that's going to be high performance. So you're going to watch videos and you're going to see Tucker's flying a 16-meter free ride. You're going to see Mitch G is cruising around on a 16 or 17-meter wing. You're going to see Anthony Vella on a 16-meter wing. And they don't give you the personification of how much time, effort, and skills it took to get to that point. You just see them flying around on it and they make it look easy. And I can tell you, because this wing right here over my shoulder is an 18-meter wing, even at 18 meters, it's still very tricky and very challenging. So you really want something that fits that beginner category, not because it's slow or not because it doesn't do things that a more performance wing won't do. You can watch a video and Tucker Gott does barrel rolls on a B wing. It's totally doable. It's just about having that active safety that's built in. So when you're kiting, the wing basically will fly itself. You don't have to over control it. When it comes to collapses, taking off, landing, the wing flies at a slower speed, which means you can get off the ground a little easier. And then when you come back to the ground, you're not going quite as fast. As you progress up into the more advanced wings, you have to start using a lot more energy management. And then that can be very overwhelming if you're not ready for it.
So one of my biggest things when I first started, looking into everything, what's y'all's opinion on, as a newbie, not looking for instructions starting off, but you get on and you're trying to find just a kiting wing. Nobody wants to help you when you first start off. So what do y'all think about newbies that are looking for getting into the sport and they're trying to find a wing and they know nothing about wings and stuff like that? Do y'all suggest what do y'all suggest doing in that scenario?
Trust your instructor.
Amen to that. I would also, I think Sean, he ended up going with the Roadster, and he was happy he didn't go with the Mojo. I think that your instructor is going to look at how much finesse you have kiting and how much finesse you have at a training hill and say, this guy really needs something that's going to be easy to launch or an A wing. If you've got that finesse and you've got the ability, like Sean did, a B wing, a Roadster, something like that. I'm at that point now to where with my wing, I'm wanting to jump to a smaller meter wing, something a little faster, but at the same time, I know I don't have the skill for it yet. Kevin, what's your opinion on that, man? I'm on a 26 meter buzz. Would it be ridiculous for me to go to a 22 meter Roadster, or do I need to go to a 24? Do you jump down 2 meters at a time? Do you go the same thing because it's a buzz compared to a Roadster? Do I need to get a 26 Roadster? Or
I think if you have standard proficiency, you can go down to about a 20 meter. I wouldn't go below 20 for a little while. So a 20 to 22 is going to give you a real spunky range. 24 is not going to be that big of a change, but 20 to 22 is going to give you a lot more sporty of a wing while still maintaining the B category. Once you do about 50 or close to 100 hours, then you can start going down to like 18, 17, 16 meter wings. Like I said, it's not the flying part. They don't really fly that much different. It's the takeoffs and landings. The wing shoots up faster. It uses less brake pressure to stall. So when the wing comes up and you're checking the surge, what you would normally do with 4 or 5 inches of brake, you're doing with 2.5 or 3 centimeters. And so that when you talk about finesse, it's really, really easy to just shoot the wing up over your head. It's difficult to be able to kite it because what we're used to is making more gross movements. And when you get into the smaller category wings, it's a lot more finesse.
Gotcha. Great answer. I appreciate that, because I don't know if I'm being crazy by saying 22 meters, kind of what my heart was set on. And I just didn't know if that was. I'm 165. When I got the buzz, I was 200 pounds. So I'm a little light on.
At 165, you could go to a 22 meter or 20 meter and be just fine.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm 190 pounds. I fly an 18 meter and it's all good.
What the? It'd be paper. I would hold that thing down to the ground. I'm not moving. Oh, snap. Look at this.
Please don't stand up.
Yeah. One thing I will say though is when you start dropping down to smaller size wings, it does make your takeoff technique and your landing technique show every characteristic that you do wrong.
Real quick before we start talking about Brian wallering in his hot tub, I fly a 28 meter Roadster, which is a B. When I was doing the SIV, I went to an A wing, which was a 23 meter, and it was spicier than I ever thought it would be. So as far as like
a 27.
What's that?
I fly at 27 now.
Oh yeah.
So they had me fly at 23.
What happened to your audio?
He's frozen.
I didn't go nowhere.
Oh, is he frozen?
He's frozen.
No, you're frozen.
Yes. Frozen.
Hey, it's
in the hot tub where it's hot. You won't be frozen anymore.
I can tell you this. I've got a 24 meter spider, and then I've got this 18 meter APCO wing. And my spider feels nice and nimble and fast until I fly the 18 meter. And then my spider goes back to immediately feeling like a Mojo. If that gives you any kind of comparison.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I've seen people downsize too quickly with skydiving wings, and I've seen them hit the sides of hangars, underestimating. You get a wing that small, you do not want to make a turn low. Pretty much when you're on final, you're on final. So,
well, you got to remember, the smaller you
make
make the wing, the more ground hungry they become.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ground hungry.
Ground hungry.
That's the new phrase. I have not heard that.
Yep. When you start flying a small wing, they become ground hungry. When you make turns, it uses more power to stay aloft. When you go into wing overs or spirals, you start approaching the ground way faster than you do on a larger wing. Like this,
I got a lot to learn, man.
This 18 meter, I can go up to 1,500 feet, and I can do 3-4 wing overs, and then I'm leveling out back on power. If I do it on my spider, I can do 6 or 8 or maybe even 10 wing overs before I have to get back on power.
on my Buzz, it's I can do about 40 or 50 wing overs from 2,000 feet. It's just it's fun, and I'm learning a lot, but it's not going to be fun for long.
That's the thing, is that you have a paragliding wing. A paragliding wing is designed for efficiency. It's not designed for the reflex of a motor. So the reason why you fly so slow is because the glider is trimmed to fly at trim speed. It's not trimmed to be driven. That's why when you fly a paraglider, even when you use speed bar, it's still not that fast because your trim is out of whack. With a paramotor wing, the reflex allows you to get the angle of attack correct when you're under power, which is why when you watch a reflex wing, when you go to an idle and you're just on glide, the thing is literally like a 20-degree down pitch, but it doesn't take much more than just above idle to then go to level flight. You fly around at 20% throttle all day. As long as you don't climb, it doesn't take nothing. So it's just about the way that the wing is trimmed, so that way when you pendulum the motor, you don't change your angle of attack. So
not to mention my turns are extremely flat. Like it's hard to get that thing crazy. I can wing over and stuff, but yeah.
Weight shift.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to drive with a paragliding wing and a motor. You have to drive your turns with a lot of weight shift.
A lot.
Like hang your body weight on the J bar, a lot of weight shift.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian, where you at, Brian?
I'm in the backyard, man.
Hey, if you stand up right now, hold on. If you stand up right now, we're gonna see a lot of this.
Uh-oh. Beer?
That's if you stand up. We're gonna see a lot of bush.
Wow.
Oh no, man. Is that a dare or what? Because I didn't quite get it.
Is that a dare?
No, never mind. No.
I got on my big boy pants, man. It's all good.
You know the worst part about that though is it's
It was a bad
tub, not
joke.
a cold tub.
Moving
So when he
on.
stands up, he has no excuses. He can't even claim the water was cold.
It's definitely not cold, I promise you. 104 degrees.
Ugh.
I like going to the hot springs. We got hot springs here in Oregon, and the upper pools are like 105, 107. It's so relaxing to sit in natural hot spring pools.
So how important is it to like find a group of guys that fly in your area and, you know, get accustomed with what they use, you know, how their flights are? You know, would you suggest getting some unheard of paramotor when everybody else flies like a Scout or a Fly Product or the Black Hawk or the Kangoo? I mean, is it better to get with the local group of pilots and find what they fly and lean more towards what they're flying just because you can get more information off them? Or is it better to go out on your own and pick up your own paramotor, I guess?
It's always good to talk with people that are in the sport, especially the people that live around you. You got a huge group of people around you, the Little Rock Flyers, and eventually your instructor will put you in that that group. We have 100 and Tommy, how many people do we have in there? About like 120-ish people?
Yeah, there's quite a few, and you know what you're saying is what got me. I mean, I remember the day where something popped in my head. We went out to the sod farm just for kiting. It was before anybody had a motor. One of the guys' name was Alex. He was running the tow machine out there. He was kiting in winds that I was just like, "You're ridiculous." And he said, "Just watch me do it. Just keep flying your wing. You can't get drug off. This field goes forever." He got drug on his back, and he's laying on his back kiting the wing, and it just clicked in my head. Like, as long as you're control, just being around people like that, I need a rebuild on my motor. Luckily, I've got a PPG grandpa that flies 5,000 hours a day, and he's already rebuilt his 100 times. If I need help, I can go over, and he's done it. So yeah, what you're saying, it really helps to have people that, for me, I think that Vitarazi is almost like the Honda Civic. Every bolt, everything that you need for it, it's very common. It's a NATO round. It's something that you're going to find anywhere. The guys in the group have taught me a whole lot. Just watching them, how they use different techniques, pushing you, knowing that they know your limits better than you do. Some of the times I talk to Sean, and man, I don't know about this. You did this the other day. This is a shorter flight than we did the other day, Tommy. Don't stop being a wuss. Get your wing on. Let's go. It's beautiful out. And it's nice to have
millimeter.
It's nice to have mentors. It really is.
The only thing I would caution new pilots is there's a lot of people out there that are not experienced, especially as instructors. They may have quite a few flights under their belts, but they've never really instructed anybody before. And I've heard several cases where people were given, advice that was very bad. And so I would treat it like a YouTube video. If I want to learn how to tune my V8 on a YouTube channel, I watch more than one channel. I watch a bunch of them. And when I come to a general consensus, everybody agrees, I kind of take that as fact. So, just kind of be wary of new people that are out there. Everybody has the best, I think, motives to try to help people, but, some people are better at it than others.
So I just always leave it at this. I think this is the simplest way to put it for anybody. It's never something that's a requirement to have a group around you. You should never have to rely or require a group. But on the flip side, it's always better with friends. And the fellowship in this sport, in my opinion, is sometimes better than the actual flying is.
Yep.
I totally agree. Guys, we are rolling up at 10 o'clock. And if you guys do not know, there is a bonus right after this that's premiering here in 6 more minutes on this channel that's going to pop up. Hopefully Shane and his wife Dawn will be able to watch it and be in the chat and talk to people. It is her view of what's going on with Shane in the house and his obsession with Paramotor. So you guys got to watch that. They'll be here live, Memorex, premiering here in just a moment.
Awesome.
Can't
Looking
wait to
forward
see
to
this.
I
it.
think my internet is going crazy.
This has been a great.
My
You've been a
audio's
great
still
interview,
coming through
though.
pretty good out here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's not right. Oh, that's not fair.
What?
What? You're sitting in a hot tub. Yeah, peace. Uh-huh. No, I'm kidding. I just spilled tea all over myself. I'm out in the garden.
I
with
just
my
finished a night flight with my paramotor, and I made a spot landing in a hot tub.
Yeah. No, hot tubs.
Okay, I
no
think I'm
doubt.
back.
Rocking it.
I was in my garden doing everything in the dark because I didn't get to get out there earlier. So.
Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and cut on out of here. It's dinner time for me, so I gotta eat something.
Yes, thank you very much, y'all, for joining us.
Nice.
Totally appreciate
Shane,
it.
if you ever have any questions, feel free to private message me or direct message me. I'm always here for you for anything I can help you with, buddy.
All right, thank you. It's nice to
There's
meet
plenty
you.
of opportunities. There's plenty of opportunities around here too. So if you ever want to head up a training hill, if you ever want to go out and kite, let us know, man. We're always interested to go play.
We'll send you everybody's phone number that's on our panel right here,
For
or
sure.
you can ask them
And
on
if any
the.
of you are ever passing through Alabama, make sure you look me up. Southeast corner of Alabama.
One thing is a new pilot.
What the hell is
Well, I don't
that?
know. That was a
What was that?
robot?
I
What?
think he made a robot baby.
Who did that?
I think it was
That's what
Tommy.
happens after. No,
Is that Shane?
I think so.
Oh, is it? Oh, it is.
He's stuck. I think a robot ate Shane.
He said, if there's anything that you need.
Don't ask him because you won't be able to understand him.
All right,
Here's
so
some
we'll
thunderbolts and lightning off in the distance, man. We need some rain bad.
I know. That's why I'm out in the garden. It's too hot. I had to
Hey.
walk everything.
Hey, y'all are
Shane
in
and
Tornado
Dawn.
Alley. I don't know, in case you didn't know.
What?
Shane and Dawn, don't forget, in 4 more minutes, your podcast is going to premiere on this channel. Make sure you watch it and you're in the chat so you can answer questions, because you're gonna have to answer a lot of Shane's questions. I think that's what it's gonna be.
Okay.
So y'all have a great evening. Y'all, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back here next week at clearproptv.com. And we are going to be, you can listen to us on paratalk.org. Y'all have a great evening. Shane and Dawn, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks.
Hey,
Thanks,
guys, I got a
Brian.
bell. Peace out.
He's always
y'all
got a
later.
bail.
good night, everybody.
Bye.
See y'all.
Peace.
Bye.
Good night.
Nice to meet everybody.
Nice
Bye.
to meet you
y'all.
too, man. Bye.
Don't drown. Kidding.
With
Kidding.
a broke leg.
I'm just kidding.
That's so funny.
Hey, is your after show, is it pre-recorded? I don't know if we can still talk or what.
I don't know.
Was
I
it pre-recorded or was it going to be live?
No,
Well,
it's pre-recorded.
I will
Forget it behind his
go.
back.
I will stop.